Welcome, Pewter Report readers, viewers, and listeners to a brand new edition of the Pewter Report podcast brought to you by our friends over at Briargreaves Insurance. Protecting your assets starts with a company that you can count on. So whether it's auto, homeowners, flood, boaters, or business insurance, there's nobody better in the business to work with than the great people over at Briargreaves Insurance. For more information about them, visit their website, briargreavesinsurance.com, or give them a call at 813-876-4166. That's 813-876-4166. It is a Pewter post-game show and a real tough one to talk about. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have fallen to the then 2-win, now 3-win New Orleans Saints in a very embarrassing loss. They lose 24-20 and go to 7-6 on the season, having some crucial games coming up and letting their lead in the NFC South slip even more. This was a collaborative effort on each side, with both the offense and defense making crucial, awful mistakes in this game that led to one of the worst losses in the Todd Bowles era, and a game that should have never been close. But that's where the Bucs see themselves after this game, losing 24-20. We're going to break it all down. We know Bucs fans are pissed off as well. So we're going to talk about everything. I'm your host, Matt Matera. Joined with me is the face that runs the place at PewterReport.com, SR, Scott Reynolds. Scott, my blood is boiling. I am angry. I am not happy. And this is as ridiculous as it gets for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
It is. Did a Pewter Pulse video on these games here, the Cardinals, the Saints, and the Falcons game. No excuses. That was the theme. You've got three teams with backup quarterbacks with losing records in Arizona. Barely beat them. The Saints, you lose to them, to a rookie quarterback, Tyler Shough, making him look better than Baker Mayfield, honestly, in terms of a scrambler. I mean, Baker's a good runner, but holy smoke, Shough just killed the Bucs today with two big touchdown runs. And then, a Thursday night matchup against a lifeless Falcons team, Matt, on Thursday night. But you know what? The Bucs look lifeless too. This is a team that has lost 4 of 5 games since the bye week, and that win against the Cardinals last week, which didn't feel good back then, probably feels even worse now. Yeah, hollow. It's even more hollow now because they didn't follow that up with the win. This is just embarrassing. How many times are we going to see Todd Bowles make rookie quarterbacks look like Pro Bowlers and have mistakes on defense? You know, it's his side of the ball. And we'll get to the offense in a minute. Baker Mayfield missed some big-time throws that cost this team a game today. Josh Grizzard's play calling, I thought, was very, very poor in a lot of areas. And we'll talk about the problems on offense. And you're right, Matt. A lot of those times the Bulls went forward on 4th down. They had 7 4th downs they went for today. 7. And they only made 2 of them. And that did put the defense in, the crosshairs a bit, because a lot of those times they're around midfield when the Buccaneers couldn't get a yard against the Saints defense. It resulted in a takeaway. I don't care. You can still hold teams to field goals, right? You can still do that. They don't have to score touchdowns on you. We saw 3 touchdowns by a Saints team to get to 24 points. A Saints team, Matt, that had only scored for any game this season. 26 points was their high. This was the second highest output on offense that the Saints had today. And this is just disgraceful. I mean, I think that Glazers, they need to really look hard at this. And I know they fired John Gruden after giving him a contract extension before the 2008 season, when a 9-3 start evaporated into a 9-7 finish, and they didn't make the playoffs as a result. Mm-hmm. We will see how this team responds on Thursday night, how they play against the Panthers. If this season slips away, they need to absolutely consider a head coaching change, because I don't have confidence after today that Todd Bowles' team is going to do anything this year. I really don't. Prove me wrong, Bucs fans. No, not Bucs fans. You guys are great. Buccaneers, prove me wrong. Change my mind, Buccaneers. I dare you to do it, because you had a golden opportunity today to show that you were contenders for the NFC South, to increase that lead back to a 1.5 over Carolina. They failed miserably, and now they're tied with Carolina going into a Thursday night game. And the Bucs, I don't have much confidence they're going to beat Kirk Cousins in those creamsicle uniforms on Thursday, Matt.
Yeah, and the Falcons are coming off of a game where then they've lost a ton this year, but they got embarrassed by the Seattle Seahawks as well, blown out at home in Atlanta. It's the same story over and over and over again with this Bucs team, with Todd Bowles. The defense doesn't show up late, self-inflicted wounds.
Yeah.
Chris Godwin Jr., another egregious drop on a 4th down play, but even more egregious than that was Emeka Egbuka wide ass open in the end zone. And the throw was a little high. Baker could have put it better on him, no question about it. But this guy, you got to make that catch in that situation.
Yeah.
That ties the game up. But it just feels, whether it's the offense, the defense, special teams sucked the first moment of the game. Then they were good after that, Chase McLaughlin. But special teams reared its ugly head. It feels like with the Bucs, particularly against the Saints at home or some of these worst teams, they play like they have one arm behind their back, and everything is so difficult. That second half, every 3rd down, you knew they were going to convert it for the Saints offense against the Bucs defense. Every 4th down, even the 4th downs that they got, and as you mentioned, they were horrible. They were 2 of 7. Rashad White barely gets a 4th down by a quarter of an inch, just gets by. Godwin has a drop. The O-line doesn't block. You're going backwards. And let's remember, this is the same team that they just played a couple of weeks ago where they had 5 opportunities at the 1-yard line and couldn't push it across. And then the same thing happened with the Sean Tucker touchdown in that game in New Orleans, and it took them until 4th and goal to get it done. I'm all for going for it on 4th down and stuff like that, but there were so many examples in that first half too. It's like, you're just keeping the Saints in the game because the defense looked good in the first half, but much like that Seattle game, look good in the first half and then just lose their mind and everything in the second half. And the most embarrassing thing of it all, in my opinion, was the audacity that this defense had to call a timeout in the 4th quarter because they either had too many men, or I'm not sure exactly what they were saying in the broadcast, but you call the timeout to make sure you got the right personnel and everything's good to go to allow a touchdown on the next play. Why? Like, who cares? Give up the 5 yards with too many men on the field. You weren't getting stops. You allow touchdown on the very next play because the circus music should be playing as you have guys running into each other, colliding with each other. Oh, I'm going to miss on Tyler Shuck. Oh, I'm going to miss on Tyler Shuck.
Logan Hall,
score a touchdown.
Vita Vea, Anthony Nelson. All had.
And you could have used that timeout. You could have used that timeout at the end, but no, you didn't have it. So you had to wait until the 2-minute warning and have less time. And maybe that wouldn't have mattered anyway because the Bucs just couldn't move the ball, with a chance to win the game. So that killer instinct, that's long gone.
They don't have it.
That's not there anymore. This team doesn't really have guts.
No, they don't.
That's a 2-win Saints team, now 3-win Saints team that they should have demolished from the beginning. Once they went up 10-7, the Saints should have never scored another point.
I agree. Because
if you have a stupid mistake from Cameron Johnson, it's just all over the place. It's ridiculous.
If the Bucs were a great team, that's what would have happened. You give up the 7 on the early drive because once again, the Saints had an opening kickoff return over 50 yards. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Thomas McGahee, he needs to be fired. I'm going to say it. He needs to be fired. Whether Todd Bowles is back next year or not, I mean, this can't happen. Ryan Miller, you have one job as the contain guy. One friggin' job. Contain! Twice in this game, he blew contain and allowed 2 big kickoff returns. That falls on the special teams coach because you put that guy in position and you said you're going to be our contain guy, and the guy didn't do it. Ultimately, it's on Ryan Miller, but it's also on the coach because he put him in that position more than once. So he should be fired. We'll see what happens at the end of the season with Todd Bowles. It's not looking good right now, to be honest, unless this is the stub your toe loss of the year and this team wins out, which I don't see that happening. This team has lost all momentum since the bye week. They've lost 4 or 5 games, right? If Tristan Wirfs plays in this game, do they win? I don't know. I don't think that they do. If Mike Evans plays in this game, do they win? I don't know. Because it's more than just one person. I saw somebody in the chat, and I appreciate all the comments. They're steamrolling in, and you guys have every right to be steamed. that said this
Bucs
loss
are
is
awful. This show's
yeah,
for you.
yeah. There's a comment that said this loss is on Jason Licht because he didn't do anything at the trade deadline. No, one player is not going to make a difference for this Bucs team. Absolutely not. This team has starters, but not stars. There were no star performances today. And I even kind of tongue-in-cheek tweeted out earlier today from our X account. Zion McCollum had an interception today. Chris Braswell had a sack today. The football gods were smiling on the Buccaneers. No, the football gods giveth and the football gods taketh away. And I tell you, when I saw Tyler Shuck pulling away from Levante David, I thought to myself, this is that Raiders running back. I forget his first name. The last name was Bush, running away from Derek Brooks back in 2008. Where Derek Brooks in his prime catches him. It's a 10-yard gain. Instead, it was like a long touchdown run. Levante David in his prime tracks down Tyler Shuck, no problem. Yeah. But not anymore, right? And it's sad to see. And this loss is not just on Levante David.
Yeah,
there were plenty of players that just simply did not make plays. And Todd Bowles was right when he said that. He's like, we didn't make plays on offense, defense. We didn't call the right plays on offense or defense coaching wise. And he's right. But here's the thing. If you're not going to do it now, when you have a chance to increase your lead in the division and go back to a game and a half, and now you're tied and you have a chance to lose the division on Thursday night to the Carolina Panthers now, if you lose to the Falcons, this team just does not lack the killer instinct necessary. And it's something Todd Bowles has wanted and talked about, but it's his job as the head coach to instill it in his team. And there's not enough killers in this team, not on offense, not on defense. And when you are third down, they were 3 of 13. That's 23.1%. And that led to all those fourth down conversions, 2 of 7. That's 28%. And more importantly, Todd Bowles' defense gave up 45% on third down to Tyler Shuck and the Saints. How many times did we see a 3rd and 10? There's an 11-yard pass. 3rd and 11. Here's a 14-yard pass, right? It just, we talked about Devon Vele being a guy that the guys that killed the Bucs today. Tyler Shuck, Devin Neal, Devon Vele.
Yeah.
Those are the 3 guys that beat this defense. And that's unforgivable. That's disgraceful. That's embarrassing.
Yeah, and this team doesn't get up for games. Why? Because Todd Bowles doesn't have a pulse. And I know he's been on this show, and he's like, yeah, I keep it even keeled because if I panic, then they're going to panic. Well, hot damn, maybe they need to panic a little bit. Maybe they need a fire under their ass to start playing when the going gets tough and when you need it done in crunch time. You mentioned it before, but they squandered an opportunity where Zion has a pick, and again, finally one where like Zion was the receiver on the play, and Chris Braswell gets a sack. I know Stranger Things, the new season just came out. It felt like we were in the upside down with what was going on there.
Yeah,
and then Levante, it wasn't just Levante missing Tyler Shuck. It was a 3rd down play where the Bucs had to get off the field, and it was a swing pass to Devin Neal, and Levante wasn't fast enough to get there, and Devin Neal got the first down, and eventually the Saints scored. That, to me, just showed, okay, he just doesn't have it anymore. And yes, it'll show up in certain flashes. Again, the Seattle game, the interception, it's just not there anymore.
Yeah,
and
it's not.
The fact that it's over and over and over with the same type of stuff once again. And then, you know what's crazy, too? Bucky Irving had the great run at the end, and he had the nice touchdown early on.
He did.
But the best drive that the Bucs had is when they finally went down. It's like they can only play well when their backs are against the wall. They finally went down, and then they just went, run it with Rashad, run it with Rashad, run it with Sean Tucker, run it with Sean Tucker, and then bing, bam, boom, they're in the end zone. That was their best drive of the game. They got helped out with a pass interference that Tez Johnson was able to draw.
Right.
And then they just stayed away from that for the rest of the game. Bucky came back in, and again, he had the nice run at the end. With the field goal, but they just completely went away from what worked with running with Rashad White and Sean Tucker. And all we hear about is they got to go with the hot hand. They're going to go with the hot hand. And then they just went away from the hot hand in the whole game. So there's just so many examples of the Bucs screwing up messing up,
Yeah.
personnel not in the right way. And even if they were to beat the Falcons, beat the Panthers, and then beat the Panthers the last game of the season, obviously they have Miami in there as well. Am I still going to feel good about this team? No, not at all.
Yeah.
Wow, you did the job that you should have done, beating
Yeah.
the Falcons on Thursday Night Football. Unless they go out and beat the Panthers 60-0, there's nothing to feel good about with this team, because it's the same story that we've seen since Todd Bowles took over as head coach. And we've given him some slack, and there are some things that have been for Todd Bowles, but there's no excuses anymore. I don't care there was no Mike Evans. I don't care there was no Tristan Wirfs. I don't care that Hassan Reddick got hurt in the game as well. This team brings nothing. Game on the line. You go with your four-man pass rush that's done jack squat all season long. Where is the pressure that used to be what Todd Bowles was doing? Because you drop all these guys back, they still get the first down.
That's right. Yeah.
They still got the first down.
Yep. Yeah. They rushed forward too much, and I didn't understand why. Because if you drop 7, they're still going to get open across the middle. Thought Jacob Harris didn't play well. Thought Levante David didn't play well. Thought Servassier Dennis didn't play well. I mean, that's the middle of the defense right there. The safeties, didn't have a great game. Christian Izzian had 8 tackles to lead the Bucs, and he only played in the second half when Tyke Smith was injured a bit. Winfield was pedestrian, 5 tackles today. Where was he? Vita Vea had a sack, but then missed the more critical of the sacks. Levante 5 tackles. It just did Servassier Dennis had 2 tackles. Yeah, I mean, just it's damning when you're the defensive play caller and you are responsible as the head coach for this side of the ball, and this side of the ball gives up 45% on third down and 24 points and makes Tyler Shook. I'm not going to say he was Drew Brees, but I mean, a little bit. Oh gosh, we need to get some of these.
Jackson, the way he was able to throw and run.
It's just embarrassing. I mean, seriously. And again, I am going to put Jason Light in the mix as well. He does not get a free pass, because this team, and we've talked about it. You can want Todd Bowles fired all you want. That's fine. But this team has starters on defense, but not stars. I'll say that again. Starters, guys that are starters, but not stars. And that's a huge part of the problem, because you didn't see any stars on defense today. You saw Zion McCollum catch a wide open. I mean, good God, if he would have dropped that. I mean, you just leave the stadium right there, right?
My laptop would have been destroyed.
I mean, he tracked the ball. I'll give him credit. He tracked the ball, right? Where the receiver kind of cut off the route. Obviously, miscommunication, but at least he tracked the ball and made the play. Okay, so, good job. Finally made an interception. But Vita Vea had a sack. Greg Gaines had a sack. Chris Braswell had a sack. At the end of the day, it didn't matter. It just didn't matter, because they didn't make plays to force the Saints to field goals rather than touchdowns. They didn't make plays at the end to keep the lead once they had it at halftime. And, and again, the play calling, I thought, was very inconsistent. What I don't like, and especially too, and we're going to get some super chats here in a second. What I didn't like was what happened in the first game, Matt, in short yardage situations when the Buccaneers were in New Orleans. They got stoned at the goal line, right? Where it's first and goal from the 1 yard line, second and goal, third and goal, fourth and goal, right from the 1. Same thing, whether you're at midfield in this game and it's 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1, same thing. You need a yard, whether you're at midfield or the end zone, right? And what did we see from Josh Grizzard? He lined up way too many times in 12 personnel. And basically said, we're going to let Mike Jordan, Ben Chukwuma, and Dan Feeney, along with Graham Barton and Luke Gedeke, try to, with 0 splits, open up a hole to allow one of the running backs to get a yard. I thought the Bucs were so much more effective running the ball when they spread them out.
Yes.
Okay. And by doing that, you're taking the linebackers and spreading them out. You're taking the defensive line and spreading them out. You're creating natural holes. I thought there was way too much Dave Canales 2023 in this game plan here. And I just thought, They're doing it again. They're sitting here getting in 12 personnel on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1, and they're not going to convert.
And it got stopped every
Just about
single time. And I'll give I was about to call him Canals. I'll give Brizard credit, even though they didn't get it on the first 4th and short. They tried to pitch it to the outside to Bucky. They had the pony. They had Rashad White line up. At least they didn't just ram it up the middle like they had screwed up every single other time. Good play by Granderson. Good play by the Saints getting it done.
Agreed.
But then after that, yes, to your point, every time they lined up with 3 tight ends or no splits, they didn't get it. The 2 4th downs they did convert. And I'm typically an advocate of don't go shotgun on 4th and 1, 4th and inches. But when it's been so bad in short yardage, as we've seen now with 2 game examples for the Bucs against the Saints, it's no surprise you got it on the Rashad White run and then the kind of like option play with Baker of whether to throw it or run it. It's no surprise that those were the ones that worked and then everything else didn't.
I agree. And you know what? If the other thing too is when you go shotgun and you, in your 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1, right? I mean, the ball's coming back a couple of yards, right? And then it's getting handed off. Then it has to go forward a couple yards to try to get to the yard. And I understand they don't want to sit there and go quarterback sneak with Baker Mayfield with his bum shoulder. If you want a new wrinkle, maybe put Rashad White in at quarterback under center. He's a big dude, right? And you need a yard. Have him try to quarterback sneak it himself. I think that would be more effective than what we saw. So just not good enough today on any side of the ball. Embarrassing loss. The Bucs deserve the L. I'm almost kind of glad that they didn't pull this off, Matt. As much as I don't want the Bucs to lose, but sometimes I don't know, man. I don't have a good feeling about this season. I just don't, right?
No.
And
like injuries don't help. Ben Bredesen hurt again. Tyke hurt. Hassan Reddick hurt. But I gotta say, I almost spit out my drink when Todd Bowles went up to the podium after. I forgot how many questions in it was. And he's like, "We just got to make sure we don't turn 1 loss into 2." I'm like, "Are you kidding me, bro? You had just lost 3 games in a row.
Yeah,
you lost 4 or 5, and now you've lost 5 of 6.
Yeah,
and you're talking about not letting 1 turn into 2.
Right?
Like, what is this revisionist history?
Yeah,
So I don't know. That to me, that was insane as well. Baker obviously was. You could tell in the inflection of his voice, he's obviously pissed about everything. And Baker's part of the blame as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So some missed throws. The receivers didn't help, but Baker's had some missed throws as well.
And I'll tell you what, too. Like, I mean, again, I'm nitpicking a little bit here. I even wrote about this in my SR's Fab 5 column. They made a mistake by letting Zion McCollum get the contract extension, right? And I think Luke Geddeke's deserved his contract extension. I think he's played really well since he's been on the field this year. Yeah. Thank God they didn't extend Cade Otton. Okay, I'm about done with Cade Otton as a receiver. Okay, I mean, he didn't even run to the sticks. Granted, the throw was low. Okay, but he ran 4.5 yards. He needed 5. And the thing is yes, the throw was low, and Baker wanted to. It wasn't a good throw, but he wanted to put it in a place where Cade could get it and not the defender. I get that.
And his bare hands.
But you've got to drive the defender off. You have to get 6. So if you have to come back and get a pass, which guess what? That happens a lot in the NFL. That's football IQ, man. If I need 5, I'm not going to run to 4.5, or I'm not going to run to 5 because I might have to come up and get the ball. So I'm going to run 6, and then if I have to come up and get it, I catch the ball low. It's right at the sticks, and it's first down. And this guy just doesn't make plays in the passing game. He just doesn't. And I mean, he is an average tight end, and I'm so glad this team didn't pay him $10 to $12 million a year, whatever he maybe would have been in line to get prior to this year, because I just think he has regressed as a receiver. So I don't know. Let's get to some super chats. You've heard enough of us. Let's hear from you.
He's Cade Otton's a great 3rd string tight end. Rainer Chamberlain, thank you very much for the $1 super chat. We appreciate that. FLTB, thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Says time to look into head coaching candidates and draft guides. So that's the other side of it too, is everybody now is like, oh, look at the Jaguars, 9-5. Liam Cohen, the Jaguars are 9-5 on the season. And you know what? I think Bucs fans have a right to be pissed off because at the time, I understand not going with Liam Cohen. You have a leader in Todd Bowles. He's been here for a while. But between the Bucs and the Jaguars, one of these teams looked better in September and October. Yeah. The other team has looked better in November and December. And I don't even need to say out loud which team is which because it's clear and obvious after this Bucs game.
This Bucs team,
it's tough. The Jags look great.
Yeah, they do. This Bucs team feels stale, Matt. It feels stale. It feels like I think here's the thing. The players love Bowles, but guess what? In Raheem Morris's final season in 2011, they loved Raheem Morris. They loved Raheem.
Everyone's chummy. Oh,
everyone loved Raheem while they were losing 10 games in a row to end his career as Bucs head coach. Okay, you can love Todd Bowles. At the end of the day, and again, I understand there's people that trust the process. But the process is better than the results. Not when you're a head coach. You're not judged on your process. Maybe out of the gate to give you some time you are, but once you've been there for a while, it's all about the results. The process doesn't matter anymore. Did you win or did you lose? And right now, this Bucs team has lost 4 of 5. They have lost their momentum. I don't feel good about the rest of the season, and I hope they prove me wrong.
Yeah, so the Bucs have 4 games left? They would have to win 4 in a row to do better than what they did last season.
That's right.
You trust the Bucs to win 4 in a row?
No.
And get 11 wins on the season?
No.
So now we're talking about Todd Bowles either matching the most wins he's had as a head coach of the Bucs or going lower than he did a season ago. Yeah. So I don't know. Everything's right there. And you know what? Fantastic. Everyone's chummy. I hope Baker and the offensive line have an awesome time on their trip to Aruba or the Bahamas or whatever, because you're going to be doing it after week 17. You're not going to be playing in a wild card game. So maybe start booking those trips already. That'll be great. Everyone will love that. Oh, so cool. Look at them on a private island sipping Mai Tais.
The team camaraderie, the team chemistry. Yeah.
Yeah. They're all brothers. They're all brothers losing together.
That's right.
Great.
That's right.
Paul Morales, thank you for the 1999 super chat. Says, I'm not shocked at all. Average coaching equates to average play. It's very simple. We're just an average team, so I'm ready for the season to be over. And I look forward to the offseason because watching this team is tough. Yeah, they're not a good team anymore. They're an average team. They could surprise a good team, but they could lose to the Tennessee Titans if they lined up against the Titans.
Don't know their average, Matt. I know they're 7-6, and I think just like mathematically speaking, you have a winning record. But looking at the NFL's not for long. What have you done for me lately, league? And I don't think you can say this team is average. I think they're below average. When you lose this game, there's no excuses, no explanations. You are below average. And I have a hard time picking the Buccaneers to win any game. If you can't beat this team, who can you beat right now? Because that Seahawks game doesn't matter. That was back in week 5. That's ancient history. You beating the 49ers, that's ancient history. That is not a depiction of the team that you are here right now today.
No, absolutely. Again, they've lost 5 of 6 now and barely hung on to beat the Cardinals. So.
Yeah.
Nothing is inspiring about this team, except for maybe like Mike Evans coming back. But I don't know. They'll find a way to screw that up too.
Yeah.
Tyler Thomas, thank you for the $4.99. SR, just looking for your honest perspective on what happened to this team. Injuries aside, look defeated today.
Yeah, they're defeated. They're flat. They're stale. Those are the words that come to my mind. There's no excuse for this. This is disgraceful, embarrassing. Todd Bowles, I said it on X, deserves every bit of heat coming his way. Just does. This is the expectation. You've had the lead in the NFC South all the way through until now, and now you don't have it anymore. Now you're tied. Okay, you had a 6-1 start, something like that. 5-1, 6-2, whatever it was.
5-1. 5-1.
Okay, 5-1 start, and now it's dissolved. Okay, and I've seen a couple things. I've seen John Gruden and Tony Dungy get fired. Tony Dungy got fired once he went to the NFC South, or I'm sorry, the NFC Championship game with an 11-win Buccaneer team in 1999. The record got worse and worse, and he was gone. This is the guy that turned the franchise around. And John Gruden got a contract extension In the offseason, he and Bruce Allen, extensions in the offseason, start off 9-3, lost the last 4 to finish 9-7, missed the playoffs, and he got fired. So I know that the Blazers are probably still Team Bowls right now, but if the losing continues, trust me, that's going to change.
The walls are caving in.
It's not going to be a good look if the Dave Canales-led Panthers, the Fighting Dave Canales, win the division, and you had an opportunity with at one point, a 2.5 game lead, right, over the Panthers?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. At least the Bucs and Panthers have in common they each lost to the Saints, and that's not a good thing to have in common.
Yeah.
Kings are awful. This is your moment. Kings are awful. Thanks for the $10 super chat. Says this was playoff mode. If this is playoff mode, I don't want to make the playoffs. Why? So we can be embarrassed? No thanks. It's time for Bowles to be fired. Started 5-1, now 7-6. Inexcusable. Fire him. And it just feels like every week, like, where do the Bucs, maybe like player personnel, they have some advantage, but like, where do they have an advantage, like coaching wise or schematic wise and stuff like that? And to your point about them coming out flat, it was this game and New England where the Bucs offensively, they came out, they scored right away, they looked so good. And then as soon as the defense not even figures them out, but like gets a stop, gets a turnover, the offense, it takes them like 2 quarters to figure out once again how to scrap together a drive. And I think that's hurt them a lot too. Again, like each side really hurt themselves. The Bucs continuously getting stopped at midfield, going for it on 4th down, and the Bucs having to defend half the field instead of 70 to 80 yards of the field is tough just because the Bucs defense isn't good and they need all the help that they can get. So, I don't know. It's tough across the board. And, if they're playing like a playoff game, what type of playoff game, This was a playoff game?
They lost.
Perimeter blocker, as Dick Vermeil will say, playoffs?
Yeah.
Playoffs? You want to talk about the playoffs? Perimeter blocker, thank you for the $4.99 super chat, says Bowles must be fired. Light, parentheses, did not address critical needs through all avenues, close parentheses, should be put on notice. Interview Gruden, Munkin, Cignetti, McCarthy.
I think Cignetti's going to stay in Indiana. He's got a good thing going right there.
He's in a good
spot. McCarthy, I don't think McCarthy's the answer. Munkin, the Blooms kind of coming off the rose there in Baltimore. Their offense does not look good. They lost today right to the Steelers, Matt.
It was close at the end. I didn't see what the final score was.
My son, the Ravens fan, says that Lamar Jackson got sacked on the last play, so I'm guessing they lost. Gruden, I don't know. I don't know if John Gruden would want to come back to the Buccaneers. I think there's a part of him that wants to coach. It's just so tough to come back because he does have a legacy here. Do you want to come back? And if it doesn't work out the second go round, then it didn't work out for Joe Gibbs when he rejoined the Redskins, right?
That's true.
So it's tough to come back and find the level of success that you've had.
For sure. And like, I don't know exactly what he's getting paid at Barstool, but he's definitely got a good gig there. Like, his coworkers love him. He's got people helping him out with his videos and all this different stuff. He's got a good thing going on. Realistically, maybe he should have never left Monday Night Football when he was doing that. But he's got a good gig right now. So if I were him, I wouldn't necessarily rock the boat. Rich Balchin, I got to get back to your DM, but thank you for the $2 super chat. Says SR, is it time to be calling for Bowles' job?
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt to see what this team can come up with. None of the teams they're playing now. Except for the Panthers. Panthers have a winning record, right? They're 7-6, along with the Buccaneers.
Yes, they are each tied at 7-6.
You have a 4-win Falcons team. Where I don't. Ask me Thursday night, okay? Can we do that? Can I just put this on pause? Ask me Thursday night, because if they and I tell you what, the Miami Dolphins, look out, man. The Dolphins are going to beat the Buccaneers in Week 17.
Probably
they just are in Miami. They're going to beat the Buccaneers. And so I don't know. To me, I don't see the Bucs sweeping the Panthers, which means they're going to lose at least one of those games. Probably the one in Charlotte would be my guess. I don't know what's going to happen Thursday night. I'm scared to death of Thursday night, and you should be too, Bucs fans. I just don't have any good feelings about that. But we'll be here to talk about it. We're going to react to the action, and I'm going to wait and see. I mean, I'm not going to say they're going to lose right now, but I don't feel like they're going to win. So I don't know. Can they get to 10 wins? I don't know. I don't know. And if you're, let's put it this way, if they don't match 10 wins and they don't win the division, you're going backwards. And again, I've said it. This team feels stale. And you kind of gave Bowles a little bit of grace in each of these last 2 seasons because they finished strong. They're not finishing strong right now. And unless they take this last 4-game section here and they win all 4, I don't know how you can sit there and say, oh, there's progress in year, is this year 4 of Bulls?
Yeah, 22, 23, 24. Yeah, this is 4th season.
Yeah.
And who knows? Maybe they win 4 in a row and it kind of makes people forget about this bad part. But, I don't think you can because it's the same thing we've seen. I'd rather the Bucs win 2, lose 1, win 2, lose 1, and just do that the rest of for example, next season. But I don't know. That's just not how they do things.
I know.
Buck for Life, thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Says, fire up the mock drafts, boys. Woo! I mean, we're getting close. We've talked before. Inside linebacker, edge rusher.
Yeah.
A lot of different positions that
the
Bucs want.
This is a team that has a lot of needs. A lot of needs.
Bucko Biscuit, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Says Bowles and coaching staff should be fired tomorrow. If not, can't let them be here next season.
I mean, listen, the Blazers are going to give Todd Bowles the benefit of the doubt. He's won 3 division championships. He has an opportunity to do so again. If they win out, they're going to win. They're going to win the NFC South. That means they'll sweep Carolina. They'll beat the Falcons. So you have to give him the opportunity. If you're the Blazers, they're not going to fire him in season. They're not going to fire a guy who's got a winning record. That I know you want him gone, and you're not alone, Bucko Brisket. I'm not Bucko Biscuit. I'm not picking on you, but it's just not going to happen until after the season, if it does happen at all. And honestly, and I think the thing is we'll see how the season finishes out. But God, I just hate the built-in excuse of, well, there were so many injuries. Injuries didn't matter today. The Saints had nobody. They lost another offensive lineman. They didn't have Eric McCoy. They traded away their guard. They had 2 starting offensive linemen from the beginning of the season. 2. And
each team played in the rain too. So I don't want to hear the rain as an excuse. By the way, where do the Saints play their home games?
In a dome.
Yeah, in a dome. So come on.
At least the Bucs play outside.
People are making excuses for them, but yeah, exactly. T Level, thank you for this $20 super chat. Said, was flamed for saying Grizz wasn't creative. Now we're at near full offensive strength and still can't even execute. Baker as an offensive coordinator, kingmaker, and Bowles calling defense makes this loss inexcusable. Wish it were due to rain and officiating.
Yeah, I mean, it is inexcusable.
Josh Grisard needs to get better, but I will still hammer home. Chris Godwin Jr. dropped that ball on 4th down that should have been a 1st down. And Emeka Egbuka was wide open in the end zone. So if they get that, or if they convert one of the other 5 4th downs they missed, if Egbuka scores, that's 24 points. That's not that bad from Josh Grisard.
Right. And you tied the game.
I still think it's hand in hand. Player execution. There was another thing, player execution we didn't mention. Deion Jones, buddy. Catch that damn ball on 4th down. That gives the Bucs the ball at midfield versus having to go 80 yards.
Yep. And
that
save time
player
too.
Execution as well. Saved a lot. Would have saved some time as well.
Yep.
Jose Banda, thank you for the $9.99 super chat. Says, why are we allowing so many passes to be caught each week? It seems like there isn't as many pass breakups or even passes contested like in years past.
Yeah, and I'll say this again. Jacob Parrish has not played well the last couple games now. And you got to remember, and I mean, this is not an excuse. It's more of a reason, because it's not just Jacob Parrish, but who are the rookies making plays? Did Tez Johnson make any plays today? Did Emeka Egbuka make any plays today? Did Elijah Roberts make a play today? He made a tackle, right? I saw him make 1 tackle. My point is, these rookies, this is what week 12, right? This or game 12 for the Buccaneers.
Game
13, 7-6.
Game 13, yes.
Game 13, 7-6. Plus, these rookies played in 3 preseason games too, right? So now you're looking at 16 games. When in college, you used to playing 12. And if you have a conference championship, okay, that's 13. Then you wait a couple of weeks, you get some time off, and you play a bowl game, and you're done. Maybe you make the playoffs, different story. But I'm just saying, the rookie wall is real. It happens across the league to most rookies. It's hard to fight through mentally and physically. It's a longer season than college. Yeah. And these rookies have been playing all 3 preseason games and now all 3 of the regular season, or all 13 of the regular season games. And I just think you're just not seeing the crispness that you saw early on. And that's part of the reason why.
Yeah, they've hit a little bit of a rookie wall.
Yeah.
And speaking of college football, just a heartfelt congratulations to Miami and Alabama. You two absolutely earned it. So congrats to the 2 of you. Virgin Boys, take it for the $9.99 super chat. Says, I'm not usually one to defend Todd Bowles, but these players are not making plays when he puts them in position to. We really only need an elite edge rusher and new linebackers. Is it more scheme or players?
It's both. It's all of the above. You're right. The players didn't make the plays, but this team needs better players. That falls in Jason Light and the personnel. Again, we can sit there and high five and Jason Light with another great draft. Yes, but the problem is we're a couple of years in now, a couple of these draft classes, and it's like, is K-Dot a starting tight end? Yeah, he's a starting tight end, but is he a star? No, maybe he wasn't supposed to be because he's a fourth round pick, but there's just not enough star power on this team. They're just not. I mean, the Bucs are going to have one Pro Bowl player this year, maybe, and they're leading the division still.
Yeah,
they're not that talented of a team. They have above average to good talent, not great talent, and they don't have elite playmakers.
No, they don't. They don't have like ballers.
They don't.
Ballers, and they just don't. Like even Chris Godwin Jr., he's not balling anymore. He's obviously a shell of his former self. He can still help out. There's no doubt about that. But I mean, they're missing explosive players. Yeah,
I mean, Tyke Smith is their best player. He got a dinger today. And you can't expect him to make plays every single week. I mean, Antoine Winfield Jr. was invisible today. He had 5 tackles, right? And for a guy that is getting paid $21.025 million, like, where are you, brother? Mm-hmm. You make the money, you deserve to get called out. You just do,
Yeah, it's something that you've brought up before, too, not like specifically with Antoine Winfield Jr., but they have moments, but they don't have like days.
Plays, but not days, yes.
But and some guys, they'll have games, but not like months or weeks. Yeah. And they need more of that. Like Antoine will have a great game at New Orleans, but then everyone disappears for like another 2 weeks. So I think that's part of the frustration as well.
No, like Vita Vea, he made a play, but he didn't have a day. If he would have had a day, he would have got that second sack and prevented a touchdown. And that's what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. And I'm not picking on Vita Vea. I love Vita Vea, but Todd Bowles would tell you the same thing. Okay. Mm-hmm. He's the head coach in the defensive play coordinator. He's like, Vita, we got to have that tackle. I'm not saying anything that his position coach, Charlie Strong, or Todd Bowles isn't telling Vita Vea.
Sure. Yeah. No doubt about it.
Got to have those plays.
Trav, thank you for this $5 super chat. Says, I've been a fan since 1997, and this was some terrible football. Yeah. I am truly disappointed. For the first time, I have joined the Fire Bowls crowd. Yes, because this loss feels different than the loss 2 seasons ago when they fell to New Orleans at Raymond James Stadium. And, that was more of a team that was, hey, they've already exceeded expectations. Let's keep fighting the good fight. This is a team that should, for lack of a better term, be on cruise control and be up 3 games with 4 to play in the division. And they're not even remotely close to that. Yeah. And let's face it, even those games coming out of the bye, they were close against New England. But defense was non-competitive against the Bills. Close game, but non-competitive against the Bills. And then non-competitive on each side against the Rams in that Sunday night game.
Yep.
And then again, they squeaked by against Arizona and then fall on their face today. So it's an ongoing thing since the bye. Yeah, so just super aggravating.
Yep.
Florida boy in Atlanta, thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Says, unfortunately, it is time to clean house. This will not get better. I'm not sure where they turn the corner.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too is who is the head coach that you want, right? Who's the GM that you want? I don't see the Blazers getting rid of Jason Light and Todd Bowles because they're not football people. They don't pretend to be like Jerry Jones pretends to be. He's not a football person, but he pretends to be. The last time they did a head coach and GM firing at the same time was John Gruden and Bruce Allen, and that led to a decade of darkness, right? That led to Raheem Morris and Mark Dominic. Then Raheem got fired, and that led to Mark Dominic and Greg Schiano. And then those two got fired together. So actually those two got fired at the same time. And then they hired Lovey, who hired Jason. And then Lovey got fired after 2 years. And Jason's been in that general manager role ever since.
Yeah.
I don't think the Blazers have, the pulse of this is a good GM. Let's get him. This is a good head coach. Let's get him. I think they've scrambled to make some coaching hires and they don't want to go backwards. And I think if anything, maybe they hire a new head coach at some point. Maybe Jason gets one more, bite at the apple. And then if it doesn't work out, I don't know. But I think that proposition scares them to death, having to replace general manager and a head coach. And keep in mind, it's not one owner. It is a committee. And that makes it even harder because it's like a jury.
Yeah.
It's like a jury,
It
folks.
is.
And like you can't have a hung jury when you're an ownership group, when it is Brian and Joel and Darcy and Ed. And those are the four primaries. Then you've got other owners too with the last name Glazer, Avi and Kevin, I think is the other one. So, I mean, you got to get a lot of people rowing the boat in the same direction of the like mind to make a call. It's very challenging for any head coach and any general manager in Tampa Bay in that environment. There's no Mark Davis, right, who's the owner of the Raiders. There's no, back in the day, I mean, Malcolm Glazer ran the organization, but he had his sons help him. And now that role has expanded to include Glazers, plural. So
I think the Bucs need to live stream the Glazers deciding on whether or not to fire Todd Bowles. I mean, they should do it like in dodgeball of whether or not Average Joe should be allowed to play the game because Vince Vaughn gets there late, and then it comes down to Chuck Norris, and he gives the thumbs up or the thumbs down. So yeah, I mean, it would get views. Probably not the way to run an organization, but it is an entertainment league.
Mm-hmm.
Shaggy, who's now been a YouTube channel member for 16 months. Thank you so much. Says, I've seen enough from Bowles. Don't want to hear about minor improvements. The larger issues persist. Tony Dungy was way more successful and still got fired.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Maybe micro, there's some improvements, but macro, they haven't. And I think that's kind of the overall story of this Bucs team and Todd Bowles as the head coach.
Yep.
Tusk3, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Says, talk about paper champs. This team is filled with a loser mentality. Nobody steps up and makes a play. No killer instinct. Nothing. And again, this is a team, for better or for worse, has benefited from playing in a bad NFC South.
Yeah.
If this Bucs team was in the NFC West, we're probably talking about the draft right now. They'd be in the hunt graphic, but they're only getting the playoffs by winning the division. And now it comes down to Thursday, and then certainly that game, the two games against Carolina.
Lost to the worst team in the division.
You don't even get help with
disgraceful. Yes.
Yeah, they could have swept the whole division, but nope.
And folks, listen. Let's just set the record straight here. We all picked the Bucs to beat the Saints because that's what should have happened at the Pewter Report staff. However, we did tell you, for whatever reason, the Saints play better in Tampa than they do in New Orleans against the Bucs. I don't know why that happens, but this is twice now. out of the last 4 years where the Saints have gotten a win against the Buccaneers in Tampa against Todd Bowles. He's 6-2 against the Saints, but 2 of those losses have come here in Tampa. Crazy. And at the end of the season, too.
They stink. Kings are awful. Thanks for the $5 super chat. Says Bowles will be fired if we miss the playoffs. Oh, don't threaten me with a good time, SR. By the way, this is Bucs Basement. Yeah, someone had mentioned that the other day.
Yeah.
So shout out to you, Bucs Basement.
Yep.
/ Kings
You're
are awful.
looking more and more right by the day.
Yeah, this is your Super Bowl. Kings are awful. Let's go to A-Train. Thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Says, are the Bucs closer to winning a championship if they don't make the playoffs? Yeah, we've got this question before. I get what you're saying, because if they don't make the playoffs and they probably fire Bowles and then
they don't have a first place schedule.
Yeah. It ignites a fire under Jason Light to maybe be more aggressive in free agency or a trade or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a tough one. I still think they're closer to winning a championship. I think, again, maybe some help with Mike Evans coming back. And then if they were to win the division, I still think this would be the year where Jason Light goes, all right, let's go crazy and, make certain adjustments to get better players in here. So I'm still going to say they're closer to a championship if they make it.
It depends on how they finish. If they finish with 10 or 11 wins and they win in the playoffs, then that's the more likely answer. But I don't see them doing that right now. I mean, you had no business losing this game. And I don't hear about it. Well, we knew this was going to be a division opponent. We knew it was going to be a tough game. Doesn't matter. We don't look at, as Todd Bowles says, we don't look at the records. This is division opponent. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
What was the title of our Thursday Pewter Report podcast? Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Matt. What were you saying?
I was going to say, what was the title of our Pewter Report podcast on Thursday? It was,
what was it?
The Bucs can't mess this up.
That's right. And they did. You're exactly right.
This is their, this was they've avoided the stub your toe game. Well, they didn't stub their toe. Their foot got sawed off like in Saw 1, where the guy had to cut through the bone and then landed on their face.
Put a peg leg on him.
They have a peg leg. They broke their nose. They're going to need facial reconstruction.
Yeah.
It's the way that they look today.
Yeah.
Henry Gigante, thank you for the $4.99, says, after this loss, I've absolutely lost all hope this year. If they win the South, I'd be shocked. There is no urgency.
I agree with every word. Let me see. After this loss, I've absolutely lost all hope. Yes, I have too. If they win the South, I'd be shocked. I would as well. There is no urgency. That's a fact. I agree with every word, Henry Gigante. And if they win out, great. That will surprise me at this point. If they win the division, great. But that will surprise me at this point.
And technically, they just have to beat the Falcons and then the Panthers twice, so they could technically lose to
it's still there.
Miami.
It's still there.
But doesn't feel good, I'll tell you that.
Yep.
Ed Wamil 83, thank you for the 1999 super chat. Says, fire Bowles and Light. Light's drafts aren't as great as we think. He just refuses to increase competition on the team, so his picks can get starter roles they don't deserve. Clean house, Baker is not a Super Bowl quarterback.
Emeka Buka dropped that pass that should have been a touchdown. It was also a high throw. Not saying he couldn't and should have gotten it, but he was so wide open. That's a throw you can't miss. So to me, that's just as much on Baker as it is on Mech. I think it's a 50-50 ball. I think, yes, Mech probably has to come up with that. You're an NFL receiver, number one pick. You got to somehow find a way to make the highlight reel with making that catch. Get up there an extra inch or two. But he was so wide open. That ball has got to be better thrown. It just does, right? And, I don't know. Baker's not played that great since the bye week. No. He just hasn't. And have injuries played a role? I'm sure they have. But here's the thing. If you're a great quarterback and injuries knock you down to good, is good enough? I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's a solid point. I mean, people like to compare Baker Mayfield to Brett Favre. He's maybe diet Brett Favre. He's Brett Favre light. He just doesn't look the same. And I don't know if it's injuries or if it's poor execution, whatever the case may be, but he just looks like a completely different player than what he was earlier in the season. I mean, we were talking about MVP type of stuff from Baker Mayfield, and it's just not there anymore. It's overthrows. Even on that last drive of the game, you got to find a way to move the ball, and you have an incompletion with tight coverage, and maybe that's on the receivers just as much as it is Baker Mayfield. Then he just throws up a complete balloon ball on second down that should have been intercepted. The Bucs shouldn't have even gotten to third down, but they found a way to get to third down because I forgot which receiver it was, but the receiver made a nice play in terms of knocking the ball away from the defender. Then he runs on third down and finds a way to get the stop or get a couple more yards there, and then throws it low on fourth down. So Baker just hasn't been the guy in the past, since coming out of the bye, but really, I would say maybe before that too. It's just been pretty tough for Baker, and I don't know if he's the guy that you want to give $50+ million to. He just hasn't played at that level, for the time being. But moving on to this next super chat. Shout out to Florida Boy in Atlanta. Thank you for the $4.99. Says, fortunately, the Falcons suck even worse, so I don't have to listen to their obnoxious fans. Yeah, the Falcons do suck, but so do the Saints, and now they're playing against each other on Thursday. You're probably just talking about like overall for the whole season. But let's not forget, you got the creamsicle game, which has never gone in the favor of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now they have won in the 1976 throwback uniforms this season. And you know what? Like, I'm super excited about the documentary that's coming out starting on December 11th.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think a little bit of the air out of the balloon is the fact that the Bucs played so poorly lately. It'll be nice to have some nostalgia, but I don't know. Baker Mayfield's going to be talking into the camera, talking to the producer, along with Scott Reynolds and many others. And this guy just overthrew a receiver, but he's going to be on the documentary as well. I don't know. It's just I'm excited for the doc, but them losing 5 of 6 to me has taken some wind out of the sails.
Oh, there's no doubt. Yeah. Speaking of that. We do have some news. We'll have a podcast tomorrow. Not going to be a Victory Monday podcast, but we will have on Wednesday our Bucs versus Falcons podcast. That's going to be our preview. It is a must-win game alert. There's no doubt about that. Yeah. They've got to win this game against the Falcons. Otherwise, they're going to lose at least a share of the NFC South lead. So they've got to win on Thursday night, and we're going to preview that on Wednesday at our usual 4:00 time. Then we've got the Pewter pregame show that's going to be coming out on Thursday morning at 9 a.m. So make sure that you are around for that. And if you miss it live, hey, it's a great time during your lunch hour or maybe even on your way home from work to dial up that Pewter Report pregame podcast. That'll be on our Pewter Report TV YouTube channel. Please catch it live. We're also streaming on X and Facebook. But if you miss it, you have it archived. You can access it all the way up till kickoff at 8:15. At 8:15, that will be Pewter Game Day. Make sure you check that out at 8:15. And then, of course, we're going to have, and hopefully it's a lot better than tonight's going, a Bucs versus Falcons postgame podcast where we're all feeling maybe a little bit better about this team than what we're feeling right now about this team.
Yeah, who knows? It feels like a coin flip at this point.
It kind of does. I will say this: the heads you win, tails you lose. But the good news is when you put your faith and trust in the folks over at Jorgensen Law, you're going to win. Because if you don't win your case, if they don't win it for you, you're not going to pay any fees. So that's a hard deal to beat. Make sure if you have any legal needs that need to be addressed, you're calling the folks over at Jorgensen Law.
Welcome to Jorgensen Law, PA, where our family's legacy drives us to fight for your rights. Specializing in personal injury, workers' compensation, and Social Security, we're committed to winning for you. No fees unless we succeed. Trust in our family to help yours. Let's achieve justice together.
That's right. Jorgensen Law, PA, champions of the injured and disabled. St. Petersburg, Florida, get a free case evaluation. No fees until they win. That's right. No fees until they win. Give them a call at 727-347-7733. That's 727-347-7733. Or visit them on the web at jorgensenlawoffice.com.
Thank you to Jose Banda for the $4.99 super chat, who says, we have to learn how to tackle bad angles, bad containment, and diving at players' feet instead of wrapping up is frustrating to watch. I absolutely hate it. I mean, it's across the league. Nobody wraps up anymore. No one really makes good form tackles. They all rely on just strength and power, and I get it to a degree. But, I mean, how many times this year have we seen a quarterback escape from the clutches of what feels like 1,000 Bucs defenders on him? And that Tyler Shuck touchdown is the ultimate example. That's the cherry on top of
Logan Hall, Vita Vea, Anthony Nelson, point blank range. All three guys couldn't get him down. That's unforgivable.
Trey Alderson, Cloutier, thank you for the $4.99. Says Bull said at halftime we gotta just keep grinding out the 2 to 3 yard runs. Just goes to show the Bulls' mentality, no killer instinct, playing not to lose.
I heard that, and let me just say this real quick because it's on my mind. I heard that. The first thing I thought of was Tony Dungy back when he was with the Buccaneers. And I love Tony to death. Don't get me wrong, but and he knew that his offense was never spectacular, right? Despite all of the first and second round picks this team put into the offensive side, they had All-Star, they had work done, but they also drafted Riddell Anthony, Jaquez Green, Jason Odom, guys that just didn't really pan out. Jerry Wunsch, they never had any star power on the offensive side, really. Trent Dilfer was the quarterback during the days. He knew he had to win on defense, but what I didn't like about his mentality was he would always say, we want to get the game into the fourth quarter where our defense can win it. And I thought to myself, why would you want to have a close game in the fourth quarter? Why wouldn't the expectation be, let's blow those bitches out by halftime? Okay. Like, let's stomp these dudes in the first half, and then we'll run A-Train in the second half. But that was never the mentality. And as a result, we saw Buck ball, Dungy ball a lot, 17, 16 wins and all that. And Buccaneers never made it all the way under Tony Dungy. They made it to the NFC Championship game because of a Herculean effort by the defense in 1999, not because of the offense. But I think the expectations were so low on the offensive side of the ball that kind of fed into the team, and they didn't have that killer instinct on offense. It was solely on the defense. This was such a lopsided Buccaneer team back in the day, but I just didn't like the mentality. And I thought that and if you talk to the players, like Ronnie Barber would be the first to tell you, Tony expected way more out of the defense than he did out of the offense. And that's what created the divide between the offense and defensive players in that Dungy locker room was, if the Bucs gave up more than 17 points on defense, they were going to lose because the offense sucks so bad. And that's bad when you do your job and then all of a sudden the other team, holds your offense to 13 and you lose 17-13. Like that's no way to play. And right now, Todd Bowles' supposed strength of his game as the defensive coordinator is the defense. And it was god awful today.
Yeah, just an odd way of playing. And I know the Bucs ran for 179 yards, but
Didn't
I don't
feel
know.
like
Like
it.
a lot of it came. It did not feel like it. Like
Didn't
a lot
feel
of it
like
was
it.
Baker running. He ran
Yeah.
for 42 yards.
Yeah.
Like running with Bucky was unsuccessful today, except for the big run that he had at the end of the game. He was good in the passing game, no doubt about it.
Yep.
They just didn't have it going with Bucky, and then they went away from the actual success of Rashad White and Sean Tucker. So to me, I would have, because you could see it wasn't working with Bucky for whatever reason for quite a while. The fact that they never went back to Sean Tucker after he scored a touchdown and looked good, and same with Rashad White, made no sense to me.
Yeah, and the thing is this, to your point, Matt, Bucky Irving, if you take away that 32-yard run, and you can't because he got it, but okay, 15 carries, 55 yards, a 3.7-yard average. Sean Tucker averaged 4.1 yards. Rashad White averaged 4.8 yards. He had 11 carries for 53 yards. But if you take that out, that 32-yard run, Bucky had 14 carries for 23 yards, right? I mean, that's 1.6 yards per carry. It wasn't good enough today.
Warren Pink, thank you for the $1.99 super chat. We appreciate it. And thank you to the Real Maverick for this $5 super chat. Says, I've been the positive force all year, but no more. This team is uninspired, sloppy, and unmotivated. They can't do basics right. What a lackluster show.
Agreed.
There's so many different things that they do that are so aggravating and frustrating.
Yeah.
Teams are completing 7-yard passes, 8-yard passes like it's nothing, and yet the Bucs try to go down the field on offense in the pouring rain and complete a 45-yard pass.
Yeah.
Dude, just hit the guy underneath.
Yeah.
They do it over and over again.
Yeah.
So $10 super chats. I said a couple of weeks back, this defense looked like they are tuning Bowles out, and it was brushed off. I've been part of locker rooms. Trust me when I say they are checked out.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, like I said, the word that comes to mind is stale. This team is just stale. I just don't see any direction. I think the words are kind of ringing hollow now. So does that mean they're tuning them out? Maybe. I don't know. There's not an ass kicker in the locker room, though. Levante will get up and make a speech. Okay, Levante is a great guy. There's nobody feared in that locker room. And I'm not saying that
these speeches suck. Every year we hear, Antoine doesn't talk, but when Antoine talks, you listen.
Right.
Okay.
What's the result?
Speech, that did nothing.
Right. Process versus
Speeches
results.
suck.
Give me results. Yeah. What's the result?
Yeah.
It's like I'll never forget that there was a player, and I'm not going to mention who he is, but he was a kind of an A-list player, not a legend, but like this was on this was like on the later Gruden years. He called a players only meeting and was ripping the defense, this and that, his defensive player, and they went out and like had a tackle in the game. It's like, you can't do that, man. You can't do that. If you're going to be the guy calling your teammates out in a team meeting and you show up and have one tackle on Sundays, you're a fraud, and and right now this Buccaneer defense looks fraudulent. It just does.
Mm-hmm. It absolutely does. Ryan H, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Says, I blame Jason, but not for the trade deadline. For the offseason when he went bargain shopping, this team won because of Brady, not Jason Light.
Yeah, he's not being aggressive enough, and that's crystal clear this year. And you know what? We gave him credit because, all right, he went out and drafted 2 cornerbacks and added Kendall Vildor, right? Like on the surface, he made some moves, right? But again, process versus results. The process was good. We gave him props for it at the time. What's the result? All right, you say we need a big pass rusher, right? That's what the media and the fans are saying. He goes out and gets Hassan Reddick. Good process. What's the result? Hassan's not that guy. He's not that guy. He's not going to be re-signed. He's just not that guy. Yaya Diaby's better than Hassan Reddick, and Yaya's good but not great.
Feels like there needs
starter but not a star.
It feels like there needs to be some recalibration in how they assess building this team in the offseason.
I agree.
Trey Alderson Cloudier, thank you for the $1.99 super chat, says this team is like a walking corpse. It certainly was today.
Yeah. Well said.
Bart Harley Jarvis, thank you for the $6.99 super chat, says even the stars we do have, Winfield, Vea, Baker, wide receivers when healthy, look ordinary because of the uncreative, predictable coaching. Fire this staff.
Yeah. It's stale. It feels stale.
I will say Grizzard has tried other things before, but they haven't always worked. I mean, they tried to throw a pass to Baker on a 2-point conversion a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
They've tried a couple of
I thought the first drive was great. When they answered with the touchdown, I thought it was really good play calling there. I just, again, it's kind of like he's making some rookie mistakes. He's not learning from all right, what's the common denominator in the first Saints game versus the second Saints game on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1 situations? Oh, it's the Saints defensive line. They're really good at stopping 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1 short yardage plays. So you can't run the same plays that you tried to run. Let's get in 12 personnel. We're bringing Payne Durham and Kate Otten, and we'll have 2 tight ends. No, it just boxes everything together. And then you're trying to say, all right, Mike Jordan, we're going to run behind you, or we're going to run behind you, Dan Feeney, these backup practice squad guards, and expect to, with 0 splits to try to get a hole. I mean, if anything, spread them out. Go 4 wide receivers, even if you are going to run it. I like my chances against a lighter box than I do this condensed blob formation on the offense and defensive line. And it just reminds me a lot of what Dave Canales was doing in 2023 when he was the offensive coordinator here.
It just feels like they make it so much more difficult than they
Yes.
need to.
Yeah.
Warren Pink, thank you for the $1.99 super chat, says, I think my dad could catch a pass in the middle. I think a lot of people of all age ranges could probably make a catch against the Bucs defense over the middle.
Yeah.
The Real Maverick, thank you for this $10 super chat, says Bowles makes no sense. Doesn't go for it in the Bills game. I was saying this on the game day show.
Yep.
Doesn't go for it in the Bills game when the defense couldn't stop a high school offense. And then when the defense is playing good in the first half, he goes for it in the rain in bad conditions. What? Yeah, I agree with you because there was they initially got stopped again on the fourth down when they pitched it to Bucky and they weren't able to.
Mm-hmm.
And then I believe the Saints missed the field goal on that drive. But then the Bucs, which felt like all day, but not long after, same situation of like fourth down, 4th and 1.
Yeah.
And that one would have been fine if they punted it because the defense was playing well at that point. They had only allowed the opening touchdown. But then they didn't get it, and down went the Saints the other way. So, I don't know. The feel for the game, I know Zach Beisline's there, but I don't know.
And again,
all over.
That's the problem sometimes with analytics. When you're looking at the static sheet, right? When you're looking at the sheet and the sheet says go for it, what are the rain conditions? What's the wind, right? Like, what is the momentum meter? Where is that? Is it in your direction or their direction, right? There's a lot of things that just looking at it, ESPN stat says, analytics say go for it, right? Just because of where you are in the field, the down and distance and stuff, like that's where you need some gut feel too as a coach. That's where you have to come in and say, I know it seems like, we should go for it here, but today's not our day, or like, hey Josh, before I give you the green light, what play are you going to run and what personnel? It's third down now. If we don't get this and we're looking 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1, 4th and 2, what's the play call? Let me know right now. Right. And if he spits out a play that Todd Bowles doesn't like, I'd say we're punting. And they didn't do that today.
No, they didn't, and it backfired on them several times. David Weber, thanks for the $1.99 super chat, says only 6 completions after the first quarter. Pathetic. Yeah, they couldn't find anything. And yes, the rain, there was a ton. But you know what? The Saints adapted. They just made Tyler Shuck a running back, and he went all over the place. I'm not saying they should have done that with Baker, but there's other ways you can move the ball offensively, whether it's more creative runs or shorter passes, and they just didn't adjust. Right.
You're right. And then in the fourth quarter, there were periods it stopped raining. It was 3rd and 10, and Shuck was completing 11-yard passes. Where he wasn't having to throw into the rain and all that. So, it's unfortunate sometimes.
Kay Lear, thanks for the $5 super chat, says, I'm not really shocked by the Bucs loss. This is who Bowles is. He rarely gets his team ready to play in big games. He runs out of ideas, so he plays zone.
I mean, this team just wasn't ready to play today. The Saints just marched right down the field and scored an opening touchdown. And granted, sure, I don't care. Hey, anytime you start the game in your own 44-yard line is tough. Okay, there are no rules for you forcing a turnover. You can do that. That's legal. There are no rules for you holding a team to a field goal, right, that they might miss. That's legal. There's no rule that says you have to give up a touchdown on defense just because the opponent starts on your side of the field due to an opening kickoff. And honestly, if that was deflating to the Buccaneers defense to have to come out and defend a short field right off the bat, if that's what deflated this defense today, then this team is more mentally weak than I thought it was. And that's a far more serious problem.
Yeah, that's a good point. Trey Alderson, Cloudy Air, thanks for the $4.99 super chat, says, would you rather Cohen, Canales, or Bowles right now?
Cohen.
Question. Yeah, Liam Cohen. I mean, and not just because their record's better.
Yeah.
He can scheme up things great offensively. And, no offense to Bowles or D'Amico Ryans or Aaron Glenn, but you can find guys to be a defensive coordinator if you have the right offensive coach and offensive play caller. You can replace defensive coordinators as well if they become head coaches. It's much tougher to do the other way around.
I agree.
Josh Weiss, thanks for the $4.99 super chat, says, my dad could catch a pass in the middle too. He passed in 2019. R.I.P. to your dad, Josh.
Yeah,
I understand what you're trying
for
to
sure.
say,
Yeah.
trying to joke about. So thank you
Yep.
for the super chat. Jordan Peters, thanks for the $5 super chat. Says just throw it over the middle, and any opponent will be in each game against the Bucs. It is tiring to see no fire from this team the last few weeks. And like last year, it was all about, oh my God, the tight ends are killing the Bucs. Now they're just the new formula is it could be anyone.
Yeah.
It could be a receiver over the middle. It could be a running back on a swing pass, or it can be the tight end once again. There's no rhyme or reason.
Good Lord, what Kirk Cousins can do to this defense on Thursday night.
Yeah.
Brace yourselves, Bucs fans. Brace yourselves. Just saying.
I wonder what it probably hasn't come out yet, but I might take the over on the rushing yards for Kirk Cousins because there's going to be a situation where the Bucs have Kirk Cousins dead to right.
Yeah.
And they're going to over pursue it and miss. He's going to run for like 7 yards. I bet his over under for rushing yards is a half a yard.
It might be. And I might take it too. That's a good bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paul Morales, thanks for the $1.99 super chat. Says, SR, can you be the coach?
No. I would bring more fire to the team than Todd Bowles would do for sure. That was more of my illustrious Pop Warner days. I was kind of the fire starter on our coaching staff. I lost my voice a lot on Saturdays as a result. But no, I don't want to coach this team. Not right now.
John PXII, I'm sure that's some Roman numeral, but I don't know. Thanks for the $2 super chat. Says, are these scheme issues or lack of execution / talent?
I think it's all the above. I think the schemes aren't working.
To me, it's 50-50.
Yeah, they're not executing. That's on the players, and the talent isn't there. So I think it's all the way around. This is a I would say this is a good roster when healthy, Matt. Like if you give me Cody Mauch and Tristan Wirfs, this is a good roster when healthy. Good. That is playing below average right now. Poor. This is not a good team right now. And I think the coaching is average at best. And when you add up that and you take away the strength, which is probably good talent, and now your talent isn't good anymore. Let's say very good. Maybe I said great. Very good talent. That's not there anymore, right? You don't have Mike, you don't have Tristan, you're not going to have Cody. Kalijah's been gone. He's not coming back till maybe the playoffs. It's you are what you are, 7-6, and that feels about what this team should be right now. Perhaps soon to be 7-7.
It's going downhill, and it's going downhill fast. Kobe Edgar, thanks for the $9.99 super chat. Says, how many times are we going to allow Todd to have a 3-game skid and stub your toe game?
Yep.
Tired of mediocre. Don't care if he wins out to make the playoffs. Todd and his defense is not the answer.
It's feeling like Groundhog Day, isn't it?
Yes, Groundhog Day. The more they play like this, let's just say, I don't know, and this is possible because it's the NFC South. Let's say the Saints go on a 2-game winning streak. They beat the Panthers next week.
Yeah.
And then the Bucs win on Thursday. They beat the Panthers, but then they lose to Miami, or they beat Miami, but then lose to the Panthers, and they win the division at 9-8 or whatever the case may be. If that's the case, I think it would take at least the second round for this team to make it that far into the playoffs for Todd Bowles' job to be safe. I don't think anything under 10 wins.
I agree.
It would be without question that he's back next year, whether or not they're in the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, and I'll say this: here's the thing. Maybe you don't have to fire Todd Bowles. Maybe you have to sit there and give him the ultimatum. Todd, we need to have some changes on the defensive coaching staff, right? Not just shuffling the deck, but you need to fire Kevin Ross and Nick Rapone. That might cause Bowles to retire, honestly, and then you don't have to pay him because he's quitting, or he's retiring. So I'm just saying, it's like if I'm the Blazers or Jason Light, I'm saying unless you get some serious changes in your coaching staff on the defensive side of the ball, if you're not going to do that, then we are going to fire you. But if you will do that, then we'll consider keeping you. And then, I don't know. Maybe he gets fired at that time. Maybe he says, I'm going to retire. I don't know. But this team is stale, and it's the coaches, it's the players, and It's an incremental. Each year you get a win, you win the division in a really crappy division, and you've won one playoff game. And it feels like this is going to be a year where if this team does make the playoffs, I don't know who they would play. I would have a hard time betting on the Bucs unless they win the next 4 games and look remarkably better. Like this was the ignition to a run, and you shouldn't have to lose to a 2-win team to find your mojo again. It's ridiculous.
We're in for a crazy offseason, aren't we?
Oh yeah, buckle up, folks.
Something's gonna go on.
Buckle up.
Kings are awful. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Says Kirk Cousins come to town where he threw for 800 yards, 8 touchdowns in 2 games. LMFAO. Won't that be the icing to Bowles' coaching tombstone? Yeah, another insane Kirk Cousins game, and the Bucs wouldn't can him right there. But
I don't know how you come back.
The arrow
from
would be swinging in that direction.
Yeah. If you lose to the Falcons, that's one thing. If you lose to Kirk Cousins in the same fashion that you lost to him the previous year, where it was like 400 yards and 8 touchdowns, whatever, like you can't do that.
Lucas Crane, thank you for the $5 super chat, says, I was disappointed in Grizzard's game plan today. It seemed like he had an inability to adapt. So I agree with that second half. It definitely felt like there's more that Grizzard could have done, whether it was the weather itself, no pun intended, or just how the game was going, how the Saints were going about attacking the Bucs when they had the football. That could have been adjusted, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
I still would reiterate the drop passes that would have put the Bucs in a tie game or maybe even going ahead. So that's why I said it's 50-50, maybe even 60-40 when it came to the offensive side.
That's a great play call and great execution by Emeka Egbuka to juke Kool-Aid McKinstry right on that pass where he was wide open. It should have been a touchdown. Good play call, good route, not so great follow through with the catch, and not so great pass. Right, it could have been a little bit lower.
Yeah,
make it easy on your wide open receiver, Baker. I mean, that's a microcosm of like, good play call, bad execution, right? And then sometimes there are bad play calls, right? And it just was all over the place today. It's just this team didn't look like a team that wants to win the NFC South. It just didn't.
Kings are awful. Thanks for the $2 super chat. Says if Bowles is fired, the season is worth it. Yes, you're the number one Todd Bowles hater on the show, but we appreciate your super chat.
I wonder too, like what the Glazers are thinking, right? Because this is the 50th year of the franchise, right? This is season 50. And there's a lot of hoopla and fanfare about this season. You got the documentary coming out on Thursday, right, on Amazon Prime.
Yep.
And then you have this primetime Thursday night game where they're going to be, playing a division rival. If they lose that game, top of all this fanfare, and then if you're the Blazers and you see Dave Canales win the division, he's your offensive coordinator. And if you see Liam Cohen win the division, and I tell you what, with Daniel Jones tearing his Achilles, I think Jacksonville's going to win that division. The way it is right now, I don't see how the Colts are going to be able to come back and win that division the way Jacksonville's playing right now. So if you have 2 offensive coordinators who were in the building, and it's not like you let them leave. It's one thing when Canales left, right? That's one thing. But when Liam Cohen, you had the choice. You could have kept Liam. You decided to keep Todd. I understood the reasoning at the same time, and I'm not sure if Jason Light and Liam Cohen, if that would have like synced up personality wise. That's part of the equation. But that's not a good look. If either one of those guys finishes with the better record, than your head coach and your last name is Glazer, that's not a sign you're going in the right direction.
Right. And on top of that, it once again comes down to, the Bucs started out 5-1. That's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Panthers got better as the season went on. Jaguars for sure got better as the season went on. And the Bucs went completely backwards. And I think that factors in as well. Henry Gigante, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Says, shout out to Matt for calling it how it is. Appreciate the kind words. I think that was from earlier in the show. By the way, my headphones died. That's why I'm on my Teddy Bridgewater headphones, my backup headphones. So just addressing that right now. Trey Alderson Cloudier, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Says, I think Rizard's passing call sheet consists of like 5 plays. And then the run sheet 3 plays. Defensive coordinators clearly have figured out this predictable offense. There's certainly a lot more tape on the Bucs offense.
Yeah.
Doesn't help that their offensive line has been a turnstile, not from like poor performances, although, there certainly have been some of those, but just moving guys around. You have Tristan Wirfs, you don't have Tristan Wirfs, Lugetike's on IR, then everything on the interior offensive line. Has been easy for Josh Grisard. I think he probably deserves a little more slack than certainly Todd Bowles and maybe some of the other coaches. But just wasn't enough today.
Yep.
Bucko Biscuit, thanks for the $1.99 super chat. Says, fire Bowles right now. Glad that they lost. Your point is heard.
Yep.
Scruff McBuff, thanks for the $19.99 super chat. Says,
Thank
Buccaneers deserve to lose out the rest of the season and need a culture change. What we had back in 2020 and with BA is gone and replaced with some effing blue hair, kumbaya, tree-hugging BS that has no place in the NFL. They need a fire starter.
They do.
We talked about this before. John Gruden, Bruce Arians, the 2 Super Bowl winning coaches in this organization. They brought fire, brimstone, calling people out publicly, all of that stuff. And the kumbaya has not worked as much.
And if you look at 2 moribund franchises, Jacksonville and Carolina, and they do it in 2 different ways. Dave Canales is so upbeat. He is as upbeat as Bruce Arians and John Gruden, it's just without the profanity.
Yes.
He will clap. Come on, guys, let's go. Let's do this. Come on, you guys, you come on. He will. We call him the bully optimist, right? He will bully you with optimism and believing that you can win. Fine, coach. All right, we're going to win. And it's working. It's working. Liam Cohen is more of that. John Gruden, Bruce Arians, and if you've seen some of his clips, they got to do a lot of editing over there in Jacksonville, the Jacksonville Jaguars PR. They'll post the clips, and not even of the winning locker room speeches, of the losing locker room speeches. Of Liam calling himself out in team meetings. They post that shit, which is bananas. That's freaking bananas. I've never seen that before. But you know what? That tells me that Liam Cohen's pretty damn authentic because he's approving that. That's not just Jaguars PR doing that. They're like, hey, coach, boy, you really you called yourself out. Are you sure you want to do this? Yeah, sure. Why not, man? I said it to the players. I don't care if anybody else hears it. That's real, man. That's real. And he brings energy to it, I've made no bones about it. I still talk to Dave Canales, Liam Cohen, good friends with them, rooting for him. I'm not going to root for Dave, for 2 Sundays, but they're good people. They're good coaches. They did really good things here in Tampa.
Let's remember, Liam Cohen also attacked and went after Robert Saleh after that Jaguars 49ers game. So the guy's got passion.
That's right. Yeah.
Architect 79, thank you for the $9.99 super chat. Says, what's infuriating is the defense has had the same issues for 3 seasons straight. No PR, pass rush, mid of the field wide open, and poor special teams. Betting the future under Bowles continues the same. Yeah, you're right. Same issues the past at least 2 seasons for sure. And no answers.
Yep, for sure.
Mike Whitaker, thank you for the $19.99 super chat. Says, Grizz is out of his depth. Baker's not playing well, but playing calling not helping. We saw Baker with a good offensive coordinator last year. Middle of the defense was wide open all day. Barely blitzed a young quarterback. I agree. Can tell we are poorly coached. I mean, Todd Bowles supposed to be the blitzing guru and brings no blitzes against a guy that's never seen the type of blitzes that Todd Bowles runs.
I know.
And a good point, I got to go back and obviously watch this game again, the All-22. But yet, Rizard, I understand you want to call the offense your way, but your way of going deep just is not working.
Yeah.
You had a flawless plan last season. And yes, Liam Cohen had a lot more of Mike Evans, even though Mike was hurt for time.
He had a healthy offensive line for the most part. And that's been a huge missing component for Grizzard. It's really hard to evaluate Grizzard because, again, it's like, look at what he was dealing with today. Ben Chukwuma, Mike Jordan, Graham Barton, Dan Feeney, Luke Gedeke. Granted, he had the running backs, right? We saw some pony package today, right?
We saw a lot of pony package today.
Emeka Buka, Tez Johnson, Sterling Shepard, Cam Johnson, Cade Otton. That's who he's got to work with. That's who Baker's got to throw with today, and Chris Godwin. And it just, you see some flashes. You're like, oh, well, that's a good play. Wow, this is a good drive, right? It's kind of like what we said about the players. You have a play, but not a day, right? Like you have a drive, but you don't have drives. And I think, and we said this all along, feels like Josh Grizzard is going to be more like in the middle of Dave Canales and Liam Cohen. Not as good and proficient as Liam Cohen, where I think Liam had more answers than Josh. Mm-hmm. But I think he's on par with Dave Canales. And remember, Matt, Dave Canales had the healthiest Buccaneer offense of all time. Like, nobody missed start in 2023 that I can remember. It's a couple years from now, but I mean, it's like the starting offensive line was intact. The tight ends all played. The receivers, Mike and Chris, played the whole year, I believe. Maybe missed one game, but I mean, just completely different story this year. So I think in a parallel universe, I would love to see what Josh Grizzard could do with the hand that Dave Canales was dealt in 2023. We'll never know, but I don't think Grizzard. Trust me, I've seen worse play callers in Tampa. I have.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Like, it's not fair to Josh Grizzard. Maybe he gets looked at the wrong way because of it.
Yeah.
But that's how it's gone. That's how it is.
For sure.
The Real Maverick, thank you for the $10 super chat, says, done with Todd Bowles, even if they had pulled it out, what is this team going to do in the playoffs? They are, according to Baker and Rest, already in playoff mode, and they
lost
show
today,
up like
right?
this. Disappointing. And odds are, they're like, if they do win the division, they're probably going to be the 4 seed. They're going to have the worst record out of all the division winners. Yep. So you're either playing Seattle or San Francisco. And I know the Bucs beat both of those teams.
Yeah. That was a long time ago.
Very long time ago for each of those matchups.
Yep.
Henry Chicante, thank you for the $4.99, says Todd Bowles, George Edwards, Charlie Strong, Kevin Ross, Nick Rapone, and Thomas McGahee have to be fired. This is unacceptable.
None of them would faze me if they were gone. So
yeah. Plus, Charlie Strong, his first year here.
Yeah.
But I definitely agree with the secondaries coaches.
Yep.
And probably Edwards too.
Yep.
Tall Florida guy, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Says, I'm not sure if it already came up, but can we talk about how bad the special teams are right now? The special teams coach needs to be fired tomorrow.
I would do that. If I'm Todd Bowles and wanted to shake something up, I would fire him. I would fire Thomas McGahee and just say, listen, I got to press a button. I got to get somebody's attention here.
Yeah.
But see, that's not Todd's MO. He doesn't want to hit the panic button because he doesn't want to feel like there's a panic. But it's Bruce Arians would fire him.
Yeah.
Didn't Bruce Arians cut Vernon Hargraves
he did.
In the season when they had already promised him the 5th-year option the next year? They'd just cut him. Former first-round pick. The BA would do it. I would fire Thomas McGahee right now.
I mean, BA right after they had a great comeback win, albeit against the Jets, after Antonio Brown went insane and left. Sat down, first thing said, Antonio Brown, he is no longer a Buc.
That's right.
Didn't have to think twice about it and already did it. Yep. And special teams, it was bad on the kick return. That was probably the only mistake they had. But special teams, when you do screw up, it's more noticeable because you only have so many opportunities. You have to be perfect almost every single time.
I agree.
And and they weren't. And they started the game poorly too, which makes it even worse. Monster Jam Fever, thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Says, I feel we need a defensive coordinator at least. Well, Bowles will never give up the plays.
He won't. And I mean, again, too, that's how this ends. If you go to Todd Bowles and say, Todd, like, you need to give up your play calling duties, he's like, I'm not going to do that. And then they're going to be like, well, if we're going to fire you if you don't, and then he'll probably say, well, then you need to fire me. So,
right.
Maybe that's what this all comes to. I don't know.
Bart Harley Jarvis has now been a Pewter Report YouTube channel member for 13 months. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Says disturbing that people think Gruden is the answer. It'd be entertaining.
Oh God, there's John right there, right on my wall. I mean, I've got a lot of affection for John Gruden. Best Bucs coach I've ever covered. I mean, I just love Gruden. The only thing is, I love what Gruden did, and I want those good memories.
Right.
I want those good memories. I don't want it to be tarnished at the end by it not working out again. If there was a crystal ball and, it didn't have lotto numbers or anything like that, that would make it really fun. But if I had the crystal ball just about John Gruden coming back to the Bucs, would it work or not? I'd love to know what the crystal ball would say. I would, because he checks a lot of the boxes this team needs right now. But I'm just going to remind you, he and Bruce Allen, and really it was John was the personnel guy. He's going to want to be the personnel guy again. He drafted one Pro Bowler. One. It was Davin Joseph in the first round. Okay. One out of like 7 years, he drafted one Pro Bowler. The eye for talent is not there as much as John would love to think it's there. And I love John to death, but and then has he improved? I don't know. I didn't study his record, what he did out there in a short tenure with the Raiders. I don't know. Maybe I should go back and look at that, but I don't know. I don't know that the Blazers would want to go down that road again after patching things up. And
right.
I don't know,
it's like
I don't know if John would want to ruin a good thing right now.
I think they're in a good spot. Let's leave it where it is. And I think the Bucs, if they were to move on from Todd Bowles, should probably be a young, up-and-coming offensive play caller. It's probably the way
I agree.
to go. Aaron Sheff, thanks for the $9.99 super chat. Speaking of up-and-coming play caller, says Nate Skeelhouse, pass game coordinator for the Rams. Buck should have hired him instead of Grizzard, and he could have been the potential successor to Bowles. Hire him for offensive coordinator if we keep Bowles.
I don't know that they would fire Josh Grizzard if they kept Bowles. So
I don't think that's the move.
Shieldhouse has got a lot of good reputation in the league, though. I know that he's very well thought of. I think he'll get an OC coordinator role pretty soon. I mean, he's the pass game coordinator for the Rams, but he doesn't call plays. That's Sean McVay. So he'll get an OC. He'll get an OC job pretty soon, though.
Jeff Vahanick, thanks for the $1.99, says this defense scares nobody.
Didn't scare Devin Neal or Devon Vele or Tyler Shuck today. Those A-listers.
Not intimidating at all.
No.
Dante is no good with the $5 super chat. Thank you very much. Nick Corona, thank you for this $1.99 super chat. Daniel Posada,
thank you all very much.
$1.99 super chat. Brandon Harmon, appreciate the $4.99, says, I'm sick of the fire Bowles comments. Nobody blames the players for lack of effort.
I think we've been on the players too. I mean, Baker Mayfield didn't have a great day passing the ball. Mekabuka probably should have caught that ball somehow, some way. Kate Otten, son, you got to run 6 yards when you need 5. You can't run short of the sticks. Okay, I'm kind of over Kate Otten, folks. I mean, Cade's a great guy. I have no personal beef against him, but they need an upgrade at the tight end position. Really do. I mean, it's an average position here in Tampa Bay. And it doesn't help them as much in the run game and the pass game as it could if there's better talent there. We've called out Antoine Winfield, Levante David, Vita Vea, Yaya Diaby, Anthony Nelson, Logan Hall.
I don't know what else we can do.
I mean, who else you want us to name? I mean, the players stunk today. And the guy responsible for constructing the roster, again, and I'll say this again, and I love Jason. I think he's done a very good job. And this team is good. It's not, I take that back. The roster is good. It's not great. This team is below average right now in how it's playing and executing. And that is on the players too, right? It's not like they're robots that are being controlled by the coaches, so it's all the coaches' fault. The players are out there. They got to make the plays. Deion Jones dropped an interception, right to your point, Matt. So, yeah.
That could have changed a lot because, again,
Yep.
they're starting at midfield versus all the way.
But the Bucs need playmakers. They need impact players, that are going to make Pro Bowls and make game-changing plays. And there's not that many.
Yeah. No, that's not at the moment. Mike Wells, thanks for the $4.99 super chat. I'm sorry, but this is the type of game that should get someone fired. Bowles is the head coach. The buck stops at him, and his defense has fallen off a cliff. It has. It's an even worse look when you're the defensive guy and the defense isn't making plays when it needs to be made.
And Tyler Shuck is running all over your ass. Yeah.
Yep. Julius Rosewood, thank you for the $1.99 super chat. We appreciate it. Lucas Crane, thanks for the $10, says, the Bucs have everything in front of them. They need to make a statement on both sides of the ball against Atlanta to reignite hope. I think they will, but this is a dire situation. Like, I don't know how much more the Bucs need to be pushed close to the edge. And they won all of these close games early in the season. Now they're losing the close games.
Yeah.
Buffalo was close. New England was close. This one was close as well. Yes, they got it done against Arizona, but they're not winning the close games. They're not blowing teams out, and teams that they should blow out, they're not doing so. Is Bowles going to scream at everyone before the game or give, the Any Given Sunday speech or anything like that? I don't think so.
No.
Mike Wells, thanks for this. $4.99 says, I think long-term this team will regret keeping Bowles over Cohen for the sake of continuity. Cohen is working miracles in Jacksonville right now. They're looking good.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't argue with 9 wins now for Liam.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah.
Plus, you can't even make the argument, it's the AFC South. They're not that good. The AFC South sucks too. So, there's not an argument on that side.
Well, they just beat an 8-5 Colts team today.
That too. Yeah.
So, it's very similar to how it is with the Bucs and Panthers this year. It's the Jaguars and the Colts, right? And even the Texans, they're
creeping up.
They're creeping up. The Texans aren't like an awful team. They're 7-5 too. So, it looks even better for Liam Cohen in the AFC South because there's 3 teams with winning records right now.
Yeah. Warren Pink, thanks for the $1.99, says, feels like when Taylor Heineke ran all over us.
Yeah.
A little bit for sure. Dom Mazza says, or Mazza, with the $4.99 super chat, thank you, says, Mike chose Bowles over Cohen, and it's biting us in the ass. Bowles is a bad head coach, and Cohen is balling his first year with the Jags.
It wasn't just light. This was a laser call. They believe in Todd Bowles, the man, and they got all the members of the jury to vote that way. And this was a upper management call. Jason Light and the Lasers. That was a multi-purpose or multi-person decision to do that.
HY Gibral, thank you for the Kenyan super chat. Says, if receivers are not schemed open, they cannot beat man and or separate. Ridiculous. And tight ends are not good either. Interior offensive line, inconsistent as hell.
Yeah.
Everyone needs to be better. Grizzard, the receivers.
Yeah.
Even on that last drive, you got a chance to go and win the game. They had enough time to march all the way down the field.
Yeah.
And you couldn't even get one first down.
Yeah, that's right.
Geist85, thanks for the $2 super chat, says Ben Johnson or Bobby Slowick for coach. Well, Ben Johnson ain't leaving the 9-3 Bears. So.
Right. Yeah, Slowick got fired from the Texans, and he is the senior passing game coordinator for the Miami Dolphins, which means he does not call plays. That's Mike McDaniel's job down there.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Again, you need not just an offensive mind. You need a leader. You need somebody that you need a young Bruce Arians is what you need. You need a young John Gruden, someone who can kick some ass, take some names, call some plays, win some games.
Yeah. Mr. King 03, thank you for the $2 super chat. Says, time to look for head coaching candidates. Well, maybe in the beginning of January, because the Bucs only have one more game. It'll be against Carolina, but we'll know a lot more by then if whether the Bucs are challenging for a playoff spot or if it's time to look at the draft along with coaching candidates. But we're not far from it, I'll tell you that.
Yep.
C8Z51 Supercharge. Thanks for the $10 super chat. This game was so bad, I'm paying you $10. A lot of fans think
Thank
Baker
you.
sucks. Should he bail for a better organization? He would get a similar bag elsewhere. Thank you for the $10 super chat.
Yeah, thank you.
I mean, teams would pay Baker, no doubt about it. Like, I'm sure the Jets would bring in Baker Mayfield in 2 seconds. I don't know. It fluctuates with Baker because he needs to play with that hardcore attitude.
Yeah.
But I do feel like a lot of his issues, at least since coming out of the bye, have been injury related. So I don't know. Like, you can't tell a tiger to change its stripes. So I don't know. I guess like you just kind of hope for a healthy Baker, and that's when you get the best version of Baker.
Yeah, I agree.
Dom Mazza, thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Says Josh Grizzard is back Canada 2.0. We're cooked. I wouldn't go that far.
I wouldn't go that far either. Yeah.
Henry Gigante, thank you for being a Pewter Report YouTube channel member for 16 months. Says this loss has me listening to Nutshell by Alice in Chains while also watching this podcast. I'm done with Todd Bowles. Can't say that enough.
You know, it's kind of funny. I remember getting to the end of my rope with Jameis Winston, and I'm trying to think when that was. It was the
right before Christmas, I want to say.
Well, that was when Mark Cook did, but in my mind, it was earlier than that. I don't think I went like on a rampage about it, but remember when the Buccaneers beat the Browns in overtime, the Baker Mayfield Browns? This was like 2018, I think was the
late
year.
Field goal or in overtime. Chandler Catanzaro, I want to say.
Right. 2018, 2019, one of the two. And so it was either first year of Bruce or last year of Dirk. And I remember like Jameis threw an interception and it sent the game to overtime. Then they finally won it because I think Baker threw a pick or something. And I just thought, this guy's not the guy. He's just not going to lead this team to the playoffs. He's just not. Just makes too many mistakes, you know? He keeps both teams in the game. And that has been the MO on Jameis ever since. I just came to that conclusion. And I just kind of have that feeling right now. I'm like, I just, I don't see how Todd Bowles can take this team to the Super Bowl. Yeah. I just don't think he's got it in him. It's one thing to like claw and scratch your way to a division title by week 18 every year. But then what? Are you going to win 3 straight playoff games and then a Super Bowl? Come on. I don't see it.
Yeah, he's probably not a Super Bowl winning head coach at this point.
No.
I do miss Jameis just coverage wise. I mean, as a player.
Oh yeah.
He had a fantastic clip today because he went on the Fox broadcast. The Giants were on a bye, and he did the like Duval. They're like, how would you say it? And then he did it, and they said, do it in Broadway fashion. He goes Duval, and it was just like, no, Jameis. I highly recommend to everybody if you haven't seen it yet. It's just, it's perfect, Jameis.
Yeah.
John V23 on X has been a Pewter Report YouTube channel member for 10 months now. Thank you so much. Says Clint Kubiak on line 1. Gotta fix Baker.
Yeah, I think if Josh Grizzard is around next year, with Baker, I think they got to go back to doing some of the things that they did so well with Liam Cohen. Yeah, because the completion percentage has been very off this year. I mean, nowhere close to 71.4%. So, I don't know.
FLTB 7600. Thanks for the $1.99. Says I'd keep an eye on Mike LaFleur, the Rams offensive coordinator, for 2026. Mike LaFleur was previously offensive coordinator for the Jets. And in fairness, he had Zach Wilson as his quarterback, so it's probably not fair.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. If Bowles is gone, everything's on the table for what they want to do as a group.
I agree.
Producer Evolve, thanks for the $2, says no one is playing with passion or purpose. They don't feel inspired.
Yeah.
And it feels like the losing's gotten to them.
Yeah.
Jeff Vahanic, thanks for the $1.99 super chat, says I feel like it's way more on Baker. Emeka is not 6'6". It was a high throw.
It was. He was wide open. You gotta hit that. It didn't have to be that high. At the same time, I'm a big believer. If you're an NFL wide receiver, you touch it, you should catch it. So,
Mr. King 03. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Says, just a reminder, Jason Light has more of a track record of putting awful teams on the field rather than good ones. If the Bucs played in any other division, they'd be last since the 2021 season.
Yeah, but I'll say this. You say awful teams. I mean, Lovie Smith was a huge reason why that team went 2-14 in his first year. Huge, right? So when do you want to start kind of like the real Jason Light, journey? Like probably 2016, right? When Dirk took over, probably 2016, because Lovie's fired after 2015. In 2016, he built a team that attracted Tom Brady. We can't forget that. We can't revise history because you don't like what you're seeing right here, okay? And there's hardly any Super Bowl players from that team still playing today because a lot of that team, they were veterans. And Dominican Sue, Jason Pierre-Paul, Jack Barrett. Yeah, right? Yeah. Those were good players that he signed or traded for. So, you can't just discount that. He built it before. And two, he also gets credit for not having the dip. If the dip was 8-9 with Tom Brady, and you still won the division, and then you won it again the next year at 9-8, but you didn't have that blow it up, press the button, nuclear bomb Tampa fire sale. This didn't turn into the Jets, the Saints, the Titans. It didn't turn into that team that just is a bottom feeder for a couple of years as it waits for first round draft picks to develop and finally get good. It beats the alternative because that's the alternative. 8-9, okay. 9-8, better. 10-7, better.
I still remember before Baker came here, it was, should you sign guys like Baker or just blow it up? And a lot of people were saying, blow it up, blow it up. Yeah. And now looking back at it, thank goodness they signed Baker Mayfield because this team has been competitive and somewhat successful. And I think for Jason Light, for a long time, it was just, hey, he just doesn't have the quarterback and he has everything else. He got the quarterback. He won a Super Bowl. Yeah. And they got the next quarterback. And now some of the other roster is starting to not fall apart, but it's certainly decreasing to a degree. Kings are awful. Thank you for this $5 super chat. Says you played Russian roulette and offensive coordinator for 3 years and you finally ended up with a dud. Meanwhile, Bowles has been the DC for 4 years and his defense gets worse. Well, you can't stop offensive coordinators from becoming head coaches. Yeah. They weren't purposely playing Russian roulette. Right. They had it their way. Liam Cohen would still be calling the plays.
Right. They were ready to make him the highest paid offensive coordinator. He got a job at Jacksonville. That's not Todd Bowles' fault. It's not Jason Light's fault, right? And that's true. Todd Bowles is defense, and I'm a defensive guy, so I'm going to be a little bit more critical on that side of the ball just by nature because I know what good defense looks like, and I appreciate watching it. His defense, again, it's full of some holes, and it's again, as much as you want to come down on Todd Bowles and all that, and I get it, and you're not wrong. But if I'm being fair, and I try to be fair in all this, Matt, if you can take that comment away.
Oh yeah.
It's this, folks. I mean, this is the front six because they play nickel a lot. So it's the 4 defensive linemen, the 2 linebackers. These are the premium picks. Vita Vea hit. Devin White, kind of, but he's no longer on your team. So that's kind of not a hit now. Helped you win a Super Bowl. That was back in 2020. We're in 2025, almost in 2026. Anthony Nelson, role player. Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, bust for his draft status. Logan Hall, bust for being the 33rd overall pick. Kalijah Kancey, at the end of this season, I've said it before, he will have played in 28 games. He will have missed 23 games in his 3 years in Tampa. I have no idea about Kalijah Kancey. Goodwin is on the field. Can't help the club in the tub. Yaya Diaby, starter. Not star, starter. Chris Braswell, congratulations, Chris. Finally got a sack today, buddy. Good job. David Walker, holding out hopes, have 1 week's worth of training camp to go on. Okay, so that's why we have to include Jason Light and the personnel department in this. This is not just a Todd Bowles thing. You can blame Todd all you want, and you're not wrong, but at the same time, if you give him the modern day Jason Pierre-Paul, the modern day Shaq Barrett, find him a modern day Ndamukong Suh, rewind the clock and give me the 26-year-old Vita Vea and the 30-year-old Levante David, it's going to look a lot different.
Yeah.
Okay. It just is. And they haven't found those replacements. They haven't found that caliber of talent to give Todd the opportunity to work with.
For sure. But my question would be, and there's not an answer to it, but how many coaches in the league right now, defensive coordinators, assistants, could take this current product?
Mhm.
That's all that Todd Bowles can work with.
Yep.
How many other defensive coordinators, coaches can get a much better production out of this defense?
Fair point.
And if other
Yes.
people can, and
Yep.
Todd Bowles can't, well, I don't think that just excuses
That's
Todd
right.
Bowles for not putting out a good enough defense.
That's absolutely a fair point. You're spot on.
It goes both
Yep.
ways.
Yep.
Mike Wells, thank you for the $9.99 super chat. Says, love all the content, SR and Matt. Do you feel this team has put too much of an emphasis on continuity and giving guys a shot who were in over their head like Broussard, Dennis, etc.? Interesting question.
Yeah, I think there's been some complacency. I can understand it with Grizz, though. I mean, again, you look at what was he in charge of last year? Third down conversions. The Bucs were best in the league. I mean, Liam Cohen hired him, got along with the staff. They wanted some continuity for Baker. Finally, this is the first year Baker kind of has the same playbook.
Yeah.
Ever in his career. So, and they're getting ready to pay Baker a lot of money next year to extend his contract. So that made a lot of sense. And I don't think Broussard has fallen on his face. Like I said, I've seen worse offensive coordinators here in Tampa. But with Dennis and Matt, you and I have said it. I'm scared to death of the fact that, Benjamin Morrison's the second round pick. We'll slot him in to replace Jamel Dean next year. No, you do not. Absolutely not. You make him earn that job. You go find another starting caliber corner, whether it's at free agency or the draft, and you make him earn that spot. And then guess what? Then whoever wins it, if Morrison doesn't win it, then okay, great. You get Benjamin Morrison on your bench as the next corner in. That's not a bad spot to be. Because look, you've needed 3 this year with Dean missing some time and Zion missing a game. You need a lot of good corners. No,
yeah, you definitely do. And I'd say for Broussard, like most coordinators in the league, you're either an up-and-coming coordinator or like an assistant coach that gets promoted, or you're a coach somewhere else or a head coach that got fired, and now you're kind of stepping back in one spot. So I'd rather have the situation with Broussard of, hey, he's been here and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Jamie Miles, thanks for the $2 super chat, says, Broussard might be one and done, and then defense is bad and undisciplined. I don't think Broussard's going to be one and done unless Bowles gets fired, and then obviously that coach will want to bring in their own crew.
Exactly.
No quarters, 375. Thanks for the $2 super chat. Says, would you all like to go back to Jameis? Maybe Kyle Trask?
No.
I just want to watch Jameis play. Maybe not with the Bucs, but I want to see Jameis play somewhere.
I agree.
Johnny 2 Cash, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Says, Broussard needs to quit running Bucky up the middle every single first down. I feel like they did that a little bit too much in this game, and it just wasn't working. Get the buck out of here. Thanks for the $5 super chat. God bless you, Scott. Says, Saleh from the 49ers for head coach and offensive coordinator from San Francisco. Love their play calls. Bucky can be the next Christian McCaffrey. Interesting. So I like Robert Saleh. I thought he did a pretty good job as the Jets head coach, even though they obviously didn't win. But if you're moving on from Bowles, you got to go with an offensive coach. Saleh's a defensive guy. You got to go offense.
I agree.
Kings are awful. Thanks for the $2 super chat. Says Kubiak or Gruden for head coach. We already addressed that.
Yep.
Mr. King 03, thank you for the $2 super chat. Says, I called it since 5-1. This is 2008 all over again.
Kind of feeling like that. Start hot. Gruden was 9-3, and then wheels fell off the wagon.
Buck for life, thanks for the $1.99. Says champions of the injured and disabled. That's the Bucs. I mean, they get injured every single freaking week. And
Ben Bredesen now probably going to be out for some time. Suffering the injury.
And again, short week for the Bucs playing this Thursday. Kings are awful. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Says middle of the field has been open for 2 years. No doubt about it. It's one of the biggest issues for them. Cove1331, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Says, I see no physical toughness nor mental toughness.
I agree. I agree.
Haven't been shown the ability to truly bounce back.
Yep.
B. Shucker, thanks for the $10 super chat. If they do fire Todd, have to go get offensive guy at head coach. Totally agree. Absolutely agree.
Absolutely. Yep.
FLTB 7600, thanks for the $4.99. Says, wouldn't be surprised if the Falcons look like the reincarnation of the 1998 Dirty Birds Thursday night. Very frustrated with the Bucs. We share your frustration.
Yeah.
It's bad on both sides, and there's not a quick fix. At least it doesn't feel like.
Yeah.
Maybe having Mike Evans back will help.
Yep.
Amazement 717, thank you for the $5 super chat. Says, how would the Glazers feel if Canales wins the South and Liam wins the AFC South with Daniel Jones's injury?
Probably not good.
They would not feel great about it.
Yep.
Lucas Crane, thank you for the $5 super chat. Says, Todd deserves some of the blame for the mediocre results, but some of the character assassination done to him feels unwarranted. It's a team game.
I think we've been pretty fair on this podcast overall, but especially tonight, in saying the players deserve a lot of the blame. The other assistants deserve a lot of blame. Todd deserves some blame. Jason Light in the personnel department deserves some blame. This is not just Todd Bowles, crapped the bed today and they lost. No, he's responsible for a lot of it because he's the head coach. Keep that in mind. But yeah, it's not just Todd. This is a lot of problems happening right now in Tampa. This is a team that has lost 4 of its last 5 since the bye week.
Yeah. Ryan H 5738, thanks for the $4.99 super chat, says, I know it's unlikely, but if Liam Cohen could somehow wins the Super Bowl this year, oh my, will this fan base implode?
Yeah.
You're not wrong, and you know what? The Jaguars wouldn't be my pick to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But you look at the top 2 seeds, New England and Denver. Those are very beatable teams if you have to play them, in the AFC Championship game. So there's certainly a route for the Jaguars if they want to go. Ace Andrews, thank you for the $5 super chat. Says, "Whoa, this podcast is still going. People must be angrier than I am." LOL. Yeah, we got to every single super chat. So we're going over 2 hours now. Kings are awful. Thanks for the $2. Says, we make the playoffs. Fifth seed looks at us as a bye. They will definitely be favored. Without a doubt, if the Bucs get the 4 seed and they play Seattle or San Fran, those teams will be probably a 2.5-point favorite, maybe even more.
Yeah.
FLTB, thanks for the $1.99. Says, don't forget, Cohen lied to the Bucs in January.
Yeah, I mean Liam Cohen didn't have a clean exit from Tampa Bay. Lane Kiffin didn't have a clean exit from Ole Miss. Sometimes it's a little messy. It just is. You want it to be gentlemanly and perfect all the time, and sometimes it just isn't. But Liam's doing a good job there. We'll see how Lane Kiffin does at LSU. You know what I'm saying? It just sometimes it sometimes is not always as clean as you want it to be.
No, for sure. T Level's been a YouTube channel member for 13 months. Thank you. Says, thank you for the extended loss episode for super chats. Of course, we're always happy to answer super chats.
That's the rule. You guys, you super chat us, and you cut the line. You keep the show going. So we're over 2 hours. This is a record for a post game podcast.
It is.
Yeah.
Uncle J90, thank you for the 1999 super chat. Says, serious question, but what does Ibuka do well? He doesn't catch well. He doesn't get elite separation. He doesn't have elite speed or size. We crowned him way too soon.
There's some truth to that. I mean, he really is a number 2 wide receiver at the end of the day. He's more like Chris Godwin than he is Mike Evans, so I would agree with that. And I think he's going to be a good player. And again, this part of this is the rookie wall that he's hitting too. It's not just him; it's a lot of rookies. They do hit this, and he's had to play a lot of snaps too. They didn't expect him to play this many snaps, but he's been the number 1 when this team drafted him this year to be the number 3 or the number 4.
Yeah, he's got good versatility too. He can play pretty much anywhere.
Yeah, and he'll get better too. This is not the finished product.
Yeah, for sure.
And
probably not
I'll just say
player,
this.
rookie of the year.
Yeah, I'll say this. He's already better as a rookie than Chris Godwin was as a rookie. And look where Chris Godwin got to in his career.
So just imagine year 3 of Mecca.
Yeah.
That's really when Chris Godwin made that
That's
big
right.
jump up in his career. Alpha Zero YT, thank you for the $5 super chat, says, there's no way Grizzard gets another chance next season. Injuries have been an excuse, but we have seen a lot of bad play calls. The last drive example. There's no way that Grizzard gets a chance. If Todd Bowles is here, I'd be very surprised if Josh Grizzard is not the.
I agree. I agree. Yep.
Xavier Easter 4412, thanks for the $2 super chat, says Gruden. I doubt it, but never say never. Rich Balchin, thank you for the $2 super chat, says if we finish 9-8, does Baker still get extended? Ooh.
Baker's still a really good quarterback. And like, here's the thing. I think right now, and I don't know this, I've never had this conversation with Liam Cohen, but I just know Liam Cohen's affection for Baker Mayfield. I think the Bucs could trade Baker Mayfield to Jacksonville for a king's ransom right now. I think he would. Wild. I think he would love the opportunity to coach Baker Mayfield in Jacksonville. And again, I've not talked to Liam about this, so this is just my speculation. But I know the affection he has for Baker. You could see it, hear it in all those press conferences last year, right? And what Baker was able to do in his offense compared to what Trevor Lawrence is doing in his offense: 16 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. So if you were to not re-sign Baker, and he does have a contract here next year, but the expectation is he's going to get the raise because he's still making like $33 million per year when he's at least worth 45, 50, whatever million. But if you were to hit the free agent market, Baker Mayfield would cash in.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There are half the league's quarterbacks, are way worse than Baker. I would say Baker's in the top 12 for sure. I think that's a safe number. Some people have him higher, some people might have him lower, but I think he's a top 12 quarterback. So that's the upper third of the league, essentially.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, not everything's been great with Baker, but the Bucs overall, despite losing 5 of 6, are in better spots.
Yeah, what's the alternative? That's what's the alternative?
Yeah, like who's going to be available? No one. You'd have to go in the draft, and you're going to be drafting late teens or in the 20s. Don Mazza, thank you for the $9.99 super chat. Says, what is y'all's honest analysis about Josh Grizzard, and do you see him improving as a play caller in the near future? Bucs.
I thought today was very not good from him, especially with all those third and short and fourth and short situations. And there was also a lot of third and longs too. But I think that I'd love to see him with more than half the starters in the offensive line. Or I should say in the huddle.
Yeah.
Because right now, I mean, today he didn't have Wirfs, he didn't have Bredesen for about half, he didn't have Malk, didn't have Mike. That's 4 out of the 11. And those are some big guns. Yeah. So
you know what? Like, if you're talking about the entire
J-Mac too, really, it's 5. I guess.
If you're looking at the entire season right now, I think I'd give him a B because there's the Seattle game, the San Fran game where it looked great, and then you have games like today. But I truly think these next 4 games, let's just say Mike Evans comes back for this next game against Atlanta. These next 4 might be the most realistic way of giving a grade to Josh Grizzard because if you get Tristan Wirfs back and Mike Evans back.
Mm-hmm.
Bucky just returned, Chris Godwin Jr. just returned, and say Jalen McMillan comes back for the Panthers game.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first time you will have the closest amount of what this offense was supposed to look like this season before some of the injuries on the offensive line.
Yeah.
So maybe he can't even get graded until Thursday night, between Thursday night and week 18. So
that's a great point.
B. Shucker, thank you for the $5 super chat, says, I buy 50-yard line level yesterday for the Thursday. They shit the bed today.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Hopefully Thursday is a new day, a new game, a new outcome for the Bucs.
Mr. King 03, thanks for the $2 super chat, says, I say trade for Kevin O'Connell. Hey, when the Bucs trade for coaches, they win Super Bowls.
That's true. So, they're one of one doing that. So
I think they may have had to throw compensation to the Cardinals too, if I'm not mistaken, for Bruce Arians. But either way, it worked with Gruden. So I mean, Kevin O'Connell's a great coach. I wouldn't hate that. Aviation, thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Says, backs against the wall. Now we see who the leaders are. Definitely. It's cardiac Bucs.
Yeah, the leaders are good. Like, there's a bunch of good guys in this team, but there's not the fire starter that's going to demand the accountability. And honestly, I think a lot of it is just talk. I mean, until you do it, until you show it, until you prove it, it's all talk. And there's just been a lot of talk since the bye week.
For sure. Creative at large, thanks for the $4.99 super chat. Says, is it possible to move Braswell to inside linebacker or
he's an
replace
edge only? Yeah,
yeah.
He's an edge. He's not cut out for linebacker duties.
I thought they lined him up at linebacker for like one play, but but it was like they made it look like a 4-3 instead of the typical 3-4 that they do. But that's like, again, we've seen that with other things that Bolt's done. T-Level, thanks for the $2. Says Baker in the Prowler throwback.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, I don't know. Decal, thank you for the $5 super chat. Says, why does non-executed plays dominate this team? Offensively and defensively, we are the same.
Yeah, there's just not there's not the accountability that there needs to be. And sometimes the players only meetings, talk is cheap and stuff. I don't know. I don't know. At the end of the day, everyone's got to step up and make some plays, and they just have not been as many playmakers this year as they needed to have made.
Yeah.
And sometimes guys will make plays but not have days, and they need guys that will have days. Like Vita Vea needs to dominate. Like this should have been a 2-sack day for Vita, right?
Yeah.
Vita played pretty well. Missed a critical sack that turned into a touchdown by Tyler Shuck, right? I mean, that's what we're talking about. Logan Hall has half a sack this year. He had Taylor Shuck in his hands, like point blank range, and then let him slip out. And then Vita slipped the tackle as well, and so did Nelson, and it's a touchdown. And like, you can't have that, And again, I'm not saying anything Todd Bowles wouldn't be saying too. He said it in his post game press conference. Our players didn't make plays, and that's a fact. That's the truth.
It is. Ahino, thank you for the $4.99. Says this iteration of the Bucs is now over. The Bucs defense hasn't been good for 4 years. And guess who's coming to town on Thursday? Yes, Kirk Cousins. Yeah, that could be the straw. Could be the straw that breaks the camel's back.
Yep.
Jonas Garea, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. SR, if what you believe about Emeka is true, Jason Light screwed up really bad. Do not draft a number 2 wide receiver in round 1 when you have so many defensive needs.
Okay, well, see, here's the thing. I mean, would you say, is Chris Godwin a number 2 receiver? Like, yeah, he is, but he's also a starter.
Yeah.
Right? You need 2 starters, if not 3, if you're playing 3 wide receivers. So you need a starting caliber wide receiver. And again, when I say the next Chris Godwin, I mean, think about what Chris Godwin's place in Bucs history is.
Second best receiver of all time.
Second best receiver of all time to a Hall of Famer, right? So I'm just saying, like when I say, yeah, they drafted another Chris Godwin, like, that's a good thing. If Emeka Buka, if all he is the next Chris Godwin and puts up Godwin-like numbers and has a Pro Bowl season and several 1,000-yard seasons, that's what you want.
Yeah.
So that's not a screw up. I'm not saying that. And again, I've even said it, and the numbers bear it out. He's having statistically a better season this year than Chris Godwin had in his first 2 seasons in Tampa. So he's already ahead of the game in that respect. So that's not throwing shade towards Jason Light or Emeka Buka. I'm just saying, it's like, the question was about Emeka Buka. He's not like that elite one. He's not Mike Evans. He's not Jamar Chase. He's not. Maybe will he be Jackson Smith-Njigba? Maybe he gets to that level. I don't know. Can he get to Puka Nacua? I don't know. Maybe, but he's not that elite guy.
Right.
At least not yet. And I'm not sure, given the good but not great size, the good but not great speed. Again, he's more like Godwin. The fact that Godwin just gets open and catches the ball, and I think in time he'll become more of that type of player. Get open, catch the ball.
And also, like, the other side of it is people be like, they should have addressed defense. They should have done defense. They drafted a defensive player every round after that, except for the round they didn't have a pick, and then the 7th round with Tez.
Right, exactly.
So they addressed
Yeah.
defense in that sense as well.
Yep.
Xavier Aster 4412, thanks for the $2 super chat, says you either coach it or are allowing it to happen.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of the frustration with Bowles and really the whole coaching staff.
Yep.
David Ammons, thanks for the $5, says fire Light Bowles and Grizzard and hire BA to do the interviews for head coach, OC, and DC.
That would be the wrong person because BA is loyal to Jason Light and loyal to Todd Bowles and all these coaches on the staff. So he would probably turn down that opportunity and say, "Hey, brother, I'm having a crown on my boat in Lake Oconee, and I'm out of the game." So
yeah, he would interview everyone and go to the Glazers and say, "Honestly, my suggestion, for GM would be Jason Light, and my suggestion for head coach would be Todd Bowles." So
yeah.
Yeah, you get
and we have some Jacksonville Jaguar fans here. Thank you all for Liam Cohen. Duval. Yeah. Hey, congrats to Jacksonville, and they're doing their thing. I mean, it's an AFC team across the state, They've been kind of downtrodden, so good for them. Folks, I think we've done our duty here for you tonight. We've tried to inject some reason. We've spread the blame all the way around because honestly, when you lose to a 2-win Saints team, now a 3-win Saints team, everybody gets some blame for that. And we've answered all your super chats, including this latest one right here.
Yeah, Livy Dad, thanks for the $5 super chat, says defense is poop. Bowles been here 7 years, had a hand in the personnel scheme, everything. It's horrendous. Defense is healthy. Those injuries are on the offense. No excuses. Yeah, I agree with that.
I agree.
Majority of it, they've had the healthier side and haven't done much with it, especially since after the bye week.
Yeah, Bad W, appreciate this very much. Great show on a bad day.
Yes.
I'm still not feeling the best. I didn't even go to the game today. I think this is like the third or the fourth Bucs game in my 30 years of doing this where I've missed a home game. So I'm all drugged up and medicined up right now. And enabled me to do a 2 hour and 16-minute podcast with my good chum Matt Matera and you find people. So I hope we've served a purpose here tonight, and maybe to help you guys understand how bad this team is right now. Maybe you already knew that just from watching, but listen, I hope this team rebounds and plays better on Thursday. It would be something if this team wins out and wins the division again, and we can kind of save the bowl stuff for a later date,
Right.
And we'll see. Or this thing can go south really quickly, like it's kind of doing right now. Go EXO says good game to miss. Yeah. For sure. Yeah, for sure. Thank you very much, everybody, for participating. We were eyeballing a lot of the comments here. You guys know the rules. The super chats, they get the precedence. And it was 2 hours worth of super chats. So
yeah, exactly.
But your comments rock. I agree with 95% of them. You guys aren't wrong. You guys are the most educated Bucs fans around. That's why we love having you here, part of our community here at Pewter Report TV and on our Pewter Report podcast. Just a quick little reminder, and then we're going to get out of here. Promise. We have a show tomorrow. Won't be Victory Monday, but then on Wednesday, Bucs versus Falcons. Guess what? It's a must-win game alert again.
Yeah.
And then on Thursday, 9 a.m., we have Pewter pregame, followed by Pewter game day at 8:15, and we'll have that Bucs versus Falcons postgame podcast after the game on Thursday night, and I'm going to try to be in attendance for that one, for the creamsicle game. Ooh, can't wait.
Yeah.
And then we'll have a show on Friday to end the week out too, because we'll kind of do the postmortem on the Friday performance, win or lose, and we'll hear from Todd Bowles on Friday as well, this post-game press conference. And then, of course, we're taking the weekend off because why? We all deserve it for watching this crappy-ass game that we watched today.
So still a lot more to come, and we'll see how this team finishes out. In the meantime, if you're not already doing so, please follow us on all of our social media on X, Facebook, and Instagram. We are at Pewter Report. Our YouTube channel is Pewter Report TV. Please like and subscribe. Let us know how you're feeling in the comments about this Bucs loss this afternoon / evening. That's it.
Hold on one second. You all were the winners tonight because you showed up. You did your job. The execution was flawless by you people. The game plan was great from 4:15 on tonight for this podcast. You were not the reason why the Buccaneers lost. And if you're at that game today, folks, God bless you. God bless
especially
you.
In the rain.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you deserve He deserves something
Yeah.
nice from this team. One quick little note too. We're growing this channel. We're about 100 away from 23,000. I'd love to hit 23,000 by the end of this month. Let's do it before then. So if you've watched this video, if you're still around, please hit the subscribe button on Pewter Report TV. Help us get to 23,000 subscribers. So we're close. We're about 22,900. So help us get there. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. We'll be back here in a couple hours doing it again tomorrow.
That's right. So until then, for Scott Reynolds, I'm Matt Matera saying thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you tomorrow at 4 p.m. for another edition of the Pewter Report podcast.